a fake 5 is literally not a nat 5. Like,
yeah, it's not even the same pool.
if you view a fake 5 as I should have gotten a nat 5, it's just not what it is.
It's not what it is.
If you got a fake 5, you got a coded 4-star, and you had a tiny % chance to get an upgraded version of the same thing.
Wait,
and it is an upgraded version. It is a 5-star fodder, should you choose to use it that way, or it is a skill up or it's a unit that's already awakened, right?
Brian, have you ever summoned a fake nat 6?
What the fuck is that?
Like
What the fuck did you just say? What?
Upgraded
How long you been playing the game?
nat 5.
How long you been playing the game? What the fuck did you just say? I don't know. I don't know the words that coming out of your mouth. What the fuck did you just say? But welcome back to another podcast, guys. Yeah, as you can see, we got a nice crew here today for the podcast. We got Tyler back, once in love. We got Rujin, we got Thompson, and we got Invictus. We got some pretty interesting topics for you guys today, so it should be pretty fun. But before we get into it too much here, Thompson, tell everybody. Tell everybody, man, about your luck
I didn't
lately.
do anything. I was just
tell everybody about your luck lately.
Day stroll. Oh, I do want to announce that.
No, tell everybody what you got. Tell them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. I do want to announce that.
Oh, he's
yesterday,
so excited.
Stay Swag again pulled a Han, a Karaka, and a Guildnir. So it's like everyone got LD Nat 5s yesterday. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's it.
What?
So I should rejoin the
also
Stay Swag again.
Bufflora. Yeah, because Invictus says Bufflora, not me, because Invictus wants it.
What about your LD Nat 5, sir? What about your LD Nat 5,
We'll
sir?
talk about it later.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of LD Nat 5s. I got a few. So.
You can't hide it. Did you know that? If you're trying to hide it and use it as like a toy or a random thing, everybody that cares or knows already knows. Did you realize that? I heard about it. I heard about it.
That's why I'm being like this.
What's that?
I haven't realized it yet. That's why I'm being like this.
So if you guys don't know, Thompson here just pulled a new LD Nat 5. I guess we'll wait until he's comfortable sharing, even though literally almost everybody has been talking about it. Everybody knows in my chat. Everybody's been talking about it. Everybody said it.
Knows?
Everybody.
Then what's the point of me saying it?
It's to be happy about it. I don't know. I just don't know why you're not happy about it. You don't want to share?
Just like that. Whoa. All right, Billy. Just like that. Okay.
I mean, the cat's already heavy.
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I pulled that. And I also got lucky and pulled some of the Art Masters, so I could talk about it when we start talking about it.
Oh, okay.
Congrats, dude.
I was first of all, I was like rank 18 before I pulled Art Master. Then I started messing with the Art Master,
So did you shoot
and then I
up
dropped down to like rank 80.
All right, let's get into today's topics then. On that note, that's the perfect topic to kind of discuss. Topic number 1. Let's talk about the string and Art Masters. What's OP from what you've seen, what you've tested, what you've played around with? Now, if you guys have not tuned into the last podcast, we did it pretty detailed on every single one of the string and Art Masters. We went through all of them. We talked about where to use it, where to rune it. If you guys haven't seen it, make sure you guys check out that podcast. Yeah, I'm going to keep that podcast as a reference, for future discussions of the Art and String Masters to see how things evolve, to see how things change from our initial ideas. So check those out if you're curious on how to rune and use them at first glance and how some of their skills and whatnot work. But in terms of actually seeing them used, right? They've been out for almost a week now. Where have you seen them being used? What is actually considered OP in your opinion? Go ahead.
Can I just say that we're all color coordinated? Blue up top, red in the middle, and black down there.
Oh,
hey, look
This
at
is
that.
kind of cool.
Well, I mean, it's different on your screen than my screen, right?
Well,
Not a
what
big
I'm seeing on
difference.
the podcast is the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's blue, red, and the black shirt. It's pretty cool.
Nani?
Yeah,
but-
Brian, we're
or
20.
we could all go.
But I'm supposed to be wearing blue. Whoa! Oh, is this blue?
It,
This
it
is
looks
dark-
kind of. It looks
dark
kind of.
blue.
No. Oh,
navy.
yeah. This is blue. This is blue. This is like navy, right?
Yeah.
I was wondering why this morning.
That might be.
I have some problems with colors. So like when I was putting it on this morning, I was like, wow, this looks kind of weird. But I thought it was a black shirt.
That's then Summoner's War is not the right game to play for you, sir.
Huh?
If you have a problem with colors.
I have some problems with colors, dude. No, I actually get
All
mixed
the
up with
light
Chow and
darkness.
Ragdoll sometimes, dude. They actually trip me
Yeah,
up.
that's why they changed Chow. They changed Chow to make it like
Just
a lighter
for
blue.
IslandGrown, yes.
No, but
So
that's
it's
your
not
icon.
Ragdoll.
That's the icon. It doesn't change how they looked in the game. The way they looked in the game on the battlefield is the same, and sometimes I still get them mixed up on the battlefield.
Yeah.
To be honest.
They don't have like a mode for like if you're like
But I'm not
As far as
colorblind.
differentiating
I just have
colors.
certain issues with certain colors, which I might actually be the definition of colorblindness. But
Isn't that colorblind?
it's just couple of colors
Not
and
colorblind,
hues.
but I have just
Like,
issues
like-
seeing difference in colors.
It's just a couple shade issues. Okay,
Ah,
like I don't see it black and white. So I'm just saying.
This is what Brian's saying. I'm not colorblind, but there's some colors I don't see well.
No, you don't know what Brian's saying. Brian's saying that Invictus is Chow and he's Ragdoll.
Why do I have to?
Because you're blue and he's not. And
I'm
he's
more
like
OP,
dark blue.
dude. I'm more
I
OP.
wanna-
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
Thompson's
Invictus.
saying I
That's how
suck.
it is.
That's all.
All right, and that was totally
Or it
random,
could
but,
be,
but
or
sure.
you could be Mina. Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
I
back
hate
to the
that
topic
guy.
here.
Oh wait, no. Oh, that's.
This
that's
is
the
why
one.
I always ask you guys: do you have anything to say before we start? Look at this. I love these
Well, I was
tangents.
trying, but then you kind of just
I
started.
like your hair. Oh, I do have something. I
Sure.
cut my hair like 30 minutes ago.
Nice.
Oh.
Cut it yourself.
Doesn't look that bad, does it? Or does it look really bad?
It's not that
You cut it
bad.
yourself?
It's like really bad.
Well, it's like
No.
over
I cut
the
myself.
internet. It's kind of hard
That's
to
pretty
tell.
good,
Maybe if
actually.
I see you in person, I could judge.
Dude, I'm
see-
so
yeah.
scared to cut
I mean,
my
the
hair
sides are.
myself.
That's pretty
My hair's
good,
getting
dude.
so long.
I kind of went.
That's
No,
not
it's 'cause the
so
hair was, like, coming
long.
over the
Oh my
ears.
god, that's so.
This is the longest I've ever had my hair ever.
Dude, I was the same way like 2 weeks ago, and then I had my dad cut it, but now it was getting long again, and I had to do it myself.
Man, I
I
still
like
need
didn't
to
mean to go
like-
so short on the sides, but like I did a really low number, like 2, because I did 4, nothing was happening, so I did 2, and I was like, fuck, well, there's no going back, so it all had to come off.
You gotta stick with the one on the sides.
1 on the sides, oh, that would have been. I guess at this point, 2. The difference between 2 and 1 is not much, but between
Not much.
4 and 2, that's a lot.
You got to buy a lot of beanies.
Mm.
I had a hat ready. I was like, worst case
Oh.
scenario, it's just more comfortable
There
wearing
you
a
go.
hat. You know. Anyway, that's my. my
Oh, I
thing.
got something to say. I finally
Go ahead.
pulled a Beast Rider a couple of days ago.
Oh, really? Which
Yeah.
one was it?
Welcome to
Red
the
one.
club.
Barbara.
Oh,
And I've been playing with
it.
Ooh.
Barb.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
I heard.
Well, it was-
Go ahead.
It was either the Fire Art or the Barbara.
Barbara, any day.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
Oh, I did on my account.
Okay, that's a flex.
Whoa,
Look at
flex.
that. Look
All
at
right, relax,
that.
Andrew.
You
Relax.
guys have so
First
many
he gets
beast
an LD
riders.
now 5, then he gets 3 Beast Riders.
He's-
Dude, of
he
all
has
people,
4
how
Beast
is it
Riders.
me? I don't get it.
Life's good, huh? Life's good.
I'll never get lucky again though.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Laura.
Yeah,
Fuck
he's doing
Laura.
good. Didn't Wycuz get a
He
Savannah
said
as well?
fuck
He did, right?
Yeah,
I
he
saw
did,
he
yeah.
summoned a
Yeah.
Savannah. So
But
that-
he's
that's kinda nice.
kind of emotional right now.
Oh,
Why is that?
Yeah, I heard.
He heard he
Because
did like a
everyone pulled,
ton of
LD Nat
LP.
5 and he
Yeah.
didn't pull one.
Wait, what happened?
Because
got
everyone
nothing.
pulled the LD Nat 5 and he hasn't pulled one.
Yeah. That's true. Especially when you buy scrolls and whatnot. Yeah, it happens.
Dude, he's
Does he have a
long
count of
overdue,
like how?
bro.
Oh, sorry. Does he have a count of like how many he's at? Like how many scrolls
Last
he's at?
We talked about it. We guesstimate 4,000.
Yeah, we talked about it last podcast. I asked him. He said about 4,000 to 5,000, which is a lot. That's a lot of LD scrolls.
That's a
And then
crazy
he
amount.
did-
That's
he did this
crazy.
month's
So
refresh.
for
wait.
reference, average
Great.
rates are 285.
Yeah.
Average
He's,
rates are
like literally
285.
10 times under rate.
10
Yeah.
times.
Are you sure?
the rate.
Oh, more
Yeah.
than 10 times. He's
It's-
like
it's hard to
almost
tell, but it
14
is-
Well,
times
I'm
under
trying
rate.
to be nice. Don't say more than that, Tyler. Duh.
It's believable though. It's definitely believable because you know there's outliers always in probability. There's always outliers. You know what I mean?
It's believable because some people pull like 2 L&D Nat 5s out of like 10 summons, you know? So there's got to be that 1 or 2 person
I mean,
in the world.
I just did one last night. 225 LD scrolls last night.
225? Holy.
225?
Hmm.
Okay.
I got
And
217 on someone's account.
22
you get?
lightnings. 22 lightnings with 2 LD Nat 5s.
Those
Two
rates are
LD Nat
sick.
5?
22.
Were they good
lightnings.
LDs?
Yeah.
Were they good LDs in that fight?
Mhm. We got Lucas in there. We got Libly. We got Dova. We got Iris. We got Grego. We got Martina. And we got the 2 good LD Nat 5s, which I won't spoil. You're
Brian,
gonna have to
did-
wait for the video. Yeah, but they were good.
Brian, didn't you
They're
once
Why do you just
pull,
spoil? If you want me to spoil mine, you have to spoil yours.
Yeah.
Because it's
you
con-
gotta
follow
mine,
double
mine
standard.
is content because it's a video. So I'm gonna be releasing the video later on YouTube.
Oh, so I'm not content. I'm not an influencer.
How
You're
dare
better
you
than me.
insult the
Now
most consistent
unfair.
streamer I've ever met in my
Okay.
entire life, Brian?
Influencer
Rude.
life matters. You
Okay,
know?
you know what? Okay, you want me to spoil it? Then sure, because you know the revenue that goes from the YouTube channel goes all to my editors. So if you want me to say it and it gets less views, it's on you then.
You're not gonna get less views, man.
People are gonna watch the
If he's
video
on the
anyways.
street, what he's
Brian.
saying is, if
Yeah,
he's on the
come
street
on,
next week,
God.
Thompson, it's your fault.
Me personally, I don't like to share.
1 if you want to see it. Type 2 if you don't.
Thompson, don't be
You're
ridiculous.
getting
Dude.
bullied, Monka.
Thompson, you're being ridiculous, dude.
Really? Fine. Don't say it then.
You're being ridiculous, Thompson.
I want to know.
Let's just move on. It doesn't
I'm
matter.
curious.
Well,
I'm just so curious.
the chat is spamming.
All right, we summoned a Leona and we summoned an Arsha. You didn't even share
wait,
yours,
Ryan,
dude.
But I was gonna.
I'm
Wait,
a little pissed. I'm a little pissed that you would say it like that. To be honest. Anyways,
I shared.
yeah, no. We can move on. We can move on. All right, let's go and move on to topic number 1. Yeah, let's talk about string and art masters. What's OP and what's not from what you've seen. So obviously you've tested, some art masters and whatnot. What have you seen? Yeah, and what do you like? What do you
I
like
really
so far?
want the water string master.
Water String Master looks like the most relevant as far as like, if you want to use her in like Siege, for example. There's a lot of comps that like have a setup of a buffer, and she could be a nice hard counter to those comps. So, and she doesn't require a violent set, which is also nice. Like people putting her on like Swift, right?
It's one of those anti-buffers that doesn't require resistance check. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
So water's good.
Yeah, it's one of the
Um,
few things in the game that's like not like it doesn't go through the accuracy resistance, so it's guaranteed, right? And anything guaranteed, like I always say in the game, is always really strong. So I think it's gonna be really viable. A lot of people are saying it's gonna increase scanning on Thor and make it even more toxic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because she hard counters Velajul, right? So she
Right.
just puts it up. Velajul usually takes the second turn unless you have a really fast Swift set on him. But even then, it's like, I don't think you're gonna outspeed like a Swift. What is her name? Dongbek? Hong Suk? Hold on.
Wait, which one? Which
The,
color?
the water one. I'm only talking about the water one.
Oh
right
wait,
now.
it's is it? No, it's not Hongyan. That's Wind, isn't it? I don't even know. So is it the S one?
So young.
Yes, it's the S one.
Oh, Song Seo.
Sung Sol, I think is the name of it. Sung Sol.
Yeah,
But did you pull your regular String Master summon then? Did you not get it?
I didn't get it. I got Fire one, and I didn't get any of the other ones from doing.
I mean,
something
technically,
like
good news is that it's a 4-star. So you mean for most of us that they play and you guys buy scrolls, right? You guys spend you gonna get one. You gonna get one, hopefully, right? Right.
What I did, this just started June, like yesterday, right? I summoned about like 150 scrolls. Didn't get any string masters.
Daily Nat 5 though.
Yeah, the Molong. Again.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And then I fed
It
it.
again.
Hey, crystals.
But so, did you guys try any of the other String Masters, or did you see them anywhere? I'm asking in terms of you guys as well, because I know Rujin, you always try to brainstorm for like Siege and Guild content. Is there any viability? Did you guys try to brainstorm anything with them, or not really? Too much.
I
started
noticed
to.
a really cool combo with the Wind one, right? So the Wind
Really?
one with the Dark Art Master would be really cool because she gets
No,
I'm
you're-
just saying. I mean, I was looking at it, right? Because like the Dark gives threat state,
right,
and
right.
then they have to target Wind. The Wind one benefits a lot more when it's being targeted. So it's like it doesn't get out of its the song state. So you're just constantly losing 5% HP, 5% HP on the enemy.
The cooldowns are so long and it's so easy to CC her.
Yeah,
I
but-
think
Right?
I think 50% of the units in Summoner's War combo really well with the dark.
It's not wrong.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's not wrong.
But since we're talking about String Master and Art specifically, that's a cool combo.
Fair enough.
Mhm. Yeah, so it looks like the
Also-
real winner is the water one, huh? That one's gonna
Yeah.
be like the most used. Also, what? Sorry, but
The Fire one got a weird type of thing. I was thinking about already how like the kit just seems too weird, but I get what they're trying to use it for. It's supposed to be like a second turn unit, right? To boost everyone up, and it goes as slow as possible. So if you have a violent damage dealer, it's constantly giving attack buff. But instead of using it, what like everyone thinks should be using, like Swift first turn, 15% ATB boost plus attack buff 1 turn when you get the turn, which is kind of shitty. It's a shitty.
It kind of
it's a
puts her in the
shitty
same
mega.
spot as it puts her in the same spot as like the gargoyles is how I look at it. Like for example, the Wind Gargoyle has that skill where he like is supposed to AoE provoke and CC the team, But for him to do that and to have like all the stats necessary to make him work, he's supposed to be like a slow tank. So it's kind of hard to be a control unit, but also built slow too.
Well, also there's a lot
So-
of better attack buff monsters,
Yeah.
like Fran. So it's like
Mhm.
So speaking of Fran, do you think this water thing counters Fran a lot too? Like a lot of people picking Fran, right? Because it kind of guts her, right? She can't really do anything now. Because you can
Water
typically
string?
you can typically ruin the water string even if you're going on Swift with the low base speed faster than most of people's pegged speed of Fran. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Depends if you can do enough in that one turn.
Like the water one literally counters every single immunity buffer, like first turn.
I think what it comes down to is how much are you willing to give a really fast Swift set to that unit that is literally only a slot 5 pick in a counter situation, right? Because
Well,
you're
it's okay. I
you're
mean, you
going to
don't-
have to give her one of your fastest sets.
Tyler, I don't
I mean,
think
you
she
only
really
do like
needs
290.
I really don't think she needs a really fast Swift set because I
Well,
think
so she
like,
needs that and will, right? Because if someone rings Scanny, they just outspeed you and reset you instantly.
I don't know about that.
It would be
too,
nice to
because,
give her better base speed.
And then
okay.
the other thing is if they have like a Hathor and they just CC right off the bat, doesn't matter. Like you're not going to stop them.
I feel like bringing her in a more offensive like team where like the other person brings like Josephine and like Antares and they're playing more defensive and you bring her out as a more of an offensive tool. But,
To
uh,
go
Oh
against
yeah,
that
yeah,
defense.
that's a perfect Josephine counter too.
So that's the other
Or-
thing with
or,
Josephine.
like,
Like, as the
defensive, like-
Josephine counter. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
There's a unit that's really hard for me to deal with. The Dark Paladin Leona. I think she's like
Oh.
decent against Leona, but not so good. But you know,
She was
There's
really
some-
good against that.
I mean,
Oh,
depending on
The
what else,
Chew buff block is like my favorite thing to use against her now.
that's
against
true,
Leona.
right? Yeah, but I feel like other things that get drafted with that Leona, I think it's really nice. That's a good point. It's really nice to have that Sung Soul on the field against Leona and everything else. It really devalues her quite a bit. Not having that shield and survivability devalues her a lot, actually. That's what really makes her so freaking tanky and hard to kill. So
I still feel a little insecure testing her because she has no skill ups. But when she has skill ups, I'm gonna like that's the first one I'm gonna be testing.
oh, did you throw the random event skill ups, the 3, into her already too?
I only got 3 of them in there, so yeah.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
I need like 12 of them, right?
Right.
I think one of the other issues with using water string is like you mentioned the Josephine counter, right? It's like, so your Josephine can very easily CC her literally
Yeah,
the first time
yeah.
she gets a turn,
But
which
at
is
least if
inherently
she
the
CCs
issue with
her-
all the strings, right?
But if she seizes her, she won't get the revenge buff, which is kind of big, right? And
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even matter if she gets CC'd. If she goes
Well, so
first,
does she
before
get
the-
immunity when she songs? The water one?
Yes.
She gets 1 turn immunity. So if you have a Hathor or you have, a Veligil, like your first turn Veligil will just be a skill and strip at that point, and the strip doesn't glance. So
Like it
you
doesn't
do that
matter
into
if
the
it's
skill
provoked,
one.
though. The
No,
song's
but you
still
can do
up.
that into the skill and stun on the Josephine. Like there's so many different setups where you can CC a string master that it's not really as strong as you want it to be.
Does the song disappear when she gets stunned?
Yes.
Yes.
Inability
Yes.
stop.
That's why the wind one is not very good in my opinion.
but not provoke,
Okay.
right?
no,
so,
not
like,
pro. It has to be
yeah.
a hard CC. So sleep, stun, freeze are the 3 that stop it.
Mm.
Or
Yeah, so
seal.
no, seal doesn't stop it
I don't
either.
think silence stops it
No,
either.
silencer wouldn't stop it as well.
Oh, you seal? You mean like the yeah?
Or you
Seal will
seal.
stop it.
The
Yeah.
scroll.
Oh, the scroll. Oh yeah. So I think she's pretty good. Like we know her base stats are kind of low and whatnot, but I think if you want to build her right, if you have that random super fast slot 6 resist like I do on Swift, I think it's really good on her, right? You got to try to make her tanky, and you're gonna try to give her high resist, and I think you get a lot of value out of her not being able to be stunned and whatnot.
So
Isn't
like
her
an
skill
Amelia.
4-turn cooldown. though?
Yeah.
So after you use it once, then you have to wait like kind of like 3 turns to use it again.
True.
I
but
mean, by that point, right? It's already
You're set
let's
up.
say, yeah, you're already set up. Let's say you have a Ganny, Halthor, and then water string, and then they have Veligil, Amelia, whatever. You don't have to ban any of the immunity. Just let them through. She goes first, sets the song, and then they.
Well,
if
do you
they
really
wait
think they're gonna let
till-
you keep the string master in that case?
I mean, then you got someone else like Thompson would have Gianna on the field.
Yeah, you got some kind of force ban that makes it that is harder for them to play against. So it might be a good pick for.
I think
They're
they're just gonna ban the
Ganny
Hathor,
and
right?
Hathor. They're gonna be
Yeah.
that's what I was
They
saying.
can just
have to have enough-
cleanse.
But they could bring enough CC in the other units. It depends.
Yeah, but it
They'd
might
have to
be a
bring,
good
like,
it might be so what do you think it would be drafted though? It's probably later in the draft that you're gonna see it being picked though, technically, right? So I mean by that time it might be really good,
buffers.
right?
Because then you'll just bring cleansers, not buffers.
Right.
Yeah, by that time, it's still the same thing. You get CC'd by Ganny and Healthor. You can't really cleanse when you're.
No, you ban one of the two. People are always gonna ban one. Like unless you have like no damage in your comp whatsoever,
Yeah.
they're never letting Ganny have their through.
So what you do is you ban the Ganny, so the no reset, or you ban the Hathor, because even if you can't buff, you can still cleanse. You still get Bellatrix cleanse. You get cleanse and attack bar. You get Amelia cleanse. It's like it doesn't matter. You still get all of those things, right? Amelia doesn't care about water string. Like sure, you block the immunity and the defense buff for one turn, but what's important is getting the cleanse out there.
Good point.
Right.
Yeah.
Unlike Wusa, for example, where it's like if you skill 3 and the string's up, like you're literally just wasting the skill. Right. With all these other units, there's still a good opportunity for that skill to be useful. You don't get the immunity or the defense buff in this case, but you get the important kit aspect of the kit, which is cleanse and then attack bar push.
Right.
Right. And it's exactly like Rafflemaker said as well. Like, in what situation would you pick the water string over a stripper?
Over an extra stripper, yeah.
Exactly. Right. Like if you pick Chu, it's like Chu is just so much better. Or like Gianna.
The stripper requires the resist check, while water doesn't. That's where you.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like it's worth I think it's worth taking on the ac res check though, considering you push them. Like if you're taking a Chewy, you not only, even if you don't strip something, you still push things back. I think it's
or you could do nothing and then you lose first turn.
I don't know. Chiwo seems pretty good versus me. It's pretty consistent. Maybe you'll miss like one target, but
I'm saying at least like one or two. Like one, you have the guaranteed one where it forces them to either decide to waste their skills or take second turn and hopefully like they can stun the water, or you get the actual stripper and you have to wait for the accuracy resist check because 50% tends.
I think the stripper provides more in the long run of the game, but like I don't know if you get your combo down first turn with the water one. Could be good, but
it's just like you said though. Everyone's gonna ban Ganny Thor, right?
But still, I feel like. Go ahead.
You guys are saying if those teams you guys are saying are like that, then the water one have to either be built with like max resistance, or if not, just like crit damage, right?
Like, I also think that like her best setup is like a mid-range speed, and I think it's really good versus those like slow people.
Really? Yeah.
Like the people who pick like Molong, Amelia, Arda, Tyrannus, like that probably works well against that because then they have to choose if they want to strip you or they choose if they nuke you on first turn, right? But they can't buff.
This is really interesting. Like if you make her like 320 speed, then she's a hard counter to Widget, right?
That's hard. That's really hard though because her base speed's not that high.
Because Widget also has speed lead.
Yeah. Well, you
and 102 base, I think.
But, like, who has a hard time against Widget? Hello, we all do. Like Widget's so good.
I just concede first turn every time. So it's like, don't even try speed challenging Widget. Okay.
But like Widget is like predicated on putting buffs and getting turns, and I think the water one will do pretty good against it.
You think water one would be better than like Bulwark? Because he still provides the turn advantage.
I think water one will be better than Bulwark because like they won't even get the buffs at all.
But is it the buffs that's really an issue for you, or is it the attack bar?
Both.
Because I find the attack bar is really what makes it hard, but the buffs themselves are super easy. If anything, the buffs make it easier for me to kill them. Barbara, Daphnis, etc. Right? But there's no immunity that comes up either.
When they get the buff and the bar, like the Ramahans or the bulldozers or the coppers, it's just like one shot kills your whole team.
Yeah, I will say if it's a defense-based team, then the buffs are better. But if it's if they're just using him with a standard set of DPS units, he probably doesn't work as well because the defense buff doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I feel like the water string is definitely going to be like one of those must builds now for RTA. I really feel like it's a solid pick. Yeah, in the draft, I feel it's going to be utilized a lot more. Especially right now, since a lot of people don't really know how to play against it as well. But we're going to see how people counteract it in the long run, right, and how consistent it's going to be. But, I mean, if you're talking about the skill, you have a unit with a skill that does exactly what needs to be done when you activate it, which is nuts. You know what I mean? So it's pretty impactful, I would say. Pretty damn impactful. Because when you feel raw, when you have no immunity, it's pretty vulnerable, right? It leaves your team pretty vulnerable to pretty much everything. So it's kind of scary.
Like I said,
it's nice to see a new.
The pseudo what was it, block immunity? Well, not like guaranteed
beneficial effect block.
Beneficial, but is
what. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
What I like.
Like so it's basically an improvement on that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna give it a base speed improvement. If it'll be too too good, honestly. If they give it a base speed improvement, you know what I mean? Like 98 is where it's gotta be, right? I feel like gargoyles should be at that level that these string masters are. You know what I mean? If you have a low base speed, you gotta be better. You gotta be good or viable in some way. I think.
I don't know. The gargoyles are pretty shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like they had to have give us some kind of kit that's pretty solid for them to have those kinds of base speeds, or else how else or why else would you even force yourself or want to use a unit with like 98 speed base? It's terrible, It's so bad.
I mean, you could say for Halfus. Halfus is great. That's the low speed.
All right, but you see his kit and his passive so good,
Yeah.
right? It compensates
Yeah.
for it, right? And it kind of makes sense as well,
And
Most kit
water
passive are designed around not necessarily needing speed.
right?
Right.
Same with
water counters Halfus too.
oh, true,
Oh yeah.
true. Yeah, I'm curious to see how much people are going to use it outside of RTA as well, in like Arena and Guild Wars. I'm thinking, right, against a lot of teams that obviously their AI is still going to use the buff skills, right? So it could be pretty good, right? I think in Guild Wars.
It's good versus Kamun Basta Odin,
KBO, right?
Oh yeah, true.
Predicated on putting buffs up.
and they also give you
Potentially
they give you Guild Wars
that-
leads too.
Yeah, they do have all Guild Wars leads.
Potentially Galleon Clara if you cut in between the Galleon and if you cut in between the Clara and the Galleon.
Right. And typically there's usually a decent gap between those for most
Big
players.
speed gap.
Yeah, there's usually a big speed gap between those two because they care about the gap between the Galleon and the damage dealer more than the Clara and the Galleon, right?
But you can still get armor broken, and I don't know.
I know I haven't figured that one out yet, but it's some of them I'm looking at.
Yeah. Significantly less
You
damage
still,
though,
you
technically.
still run like Shield Will.
Just so you know, ever since I pulled Barbara, I've been doing Ganny Halthor every single match.
I'm very
I
proud
see
of
you.
you.
It's
seen
so
it.
toxic.
You're disgusting, dude.
I know.
Welcome to the club.
I mean, honestly, I hated doing that combo because it's so like typical and normal. But then now I'm climbing. Honestly, Barbara is the most fun, and then obviously Ganny Halthor. Like just
So
compensate.
what you're saying is you're basic now, Ryu.
Yeah.
I mean, Ganny Throw is boring, but
Okay.
the Barbara is what
Embrace
makes
it.
it fun, right? That's the
Yeah.
fun in it. So I mean, I can see why you're enjoying it. So it's not really Ganny Thor.
It's nice that you don't have to play like a bruiser second turn comp anymore. That's probably what's nicest, right?
I mean, I still bring Arda into my comp because he's like my pseudo healer / extra damage.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like you don't have to run other second turn bruisers. You now have like a first turn setup, like a first turn contestant unit.
Yeah, my Sierra Barbara combo. That's what I've been doing too.
Yeah. And she works well with Tyrannus too, which works well with your Arda. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. What about some art masters? Right, we talked about the string masters here. What about some art masters? Thompson, you said you had a couple that you've been testing out, and you've been using. Tell me the discoveries, right? I always love hearing your discoveries, like with Bale, and your discoveries with like all the different teams that you try out. So, what are your discoveries so far with the art masters?
I tried Hey Gang a little bit on a friend.
That's water one, right? That's water one.
I heard it's not that good. Like it just strips like for per cleanse, it just gets like 25 for the whole team. Plus it doesn't counter Tetra, so that's kind of Ripperino, right?
Does it counter Juno passive or not?
Yeah, I counter Juno. But
Oh,
just not-
did you test it with the Tetra, or did you say that already?
He
no,
just
it
said
just
that.
minus Tetra's skill doesn't give her bar.
Oh,
Just-
So
it just
it
reduces.
does work if you use Tetra skill 2, but it's not the passive.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
the
of course,
passive
yeah.
reduces the turn by 1. It's not a cleanse, right? It's
Yeah.
like Miang extends turns by 1. It's not a buff.
yeah,
So
like
it's kinda
I'll
good for people who got the Hey Gang. Hey Gang's not that good.
I like his
I
name.
wanted him so bad,
Hey gang.
and now I'm sad.
Like they had so many they have so many creative ways to make him a lot better, but it just
What
this is
what
that's how
build
it
did you run
is
him on?
for now.
what build did you run him on? Was it like a support build?
No, I think like crit damage build is the way to go, right?
Yeah, because he has the skill
I
2
think all
strip,
of them.
right?
But skill 2 strip never strips.
It's
Do
pretty
you think
bad.
if they gave him the banish skill, it would be better? I think he'd be good with that, right?
You put the banish skill on any monster in the game, it's good.
Yeah,
Well, no,
let's,
but I mean,
let's-
like
let's
that,
talk about
that
that for a
passive
little bit.
together
You're a
with the
bomber?
banish skill could be really good, actually.
Huh?
If he had the banish skill plus the way his passive works, like he could become a lot of damage pressure really
Tyler,
fast.
you put the banish skill on any monster in the game, it'll be good. I told you.
I
this.
really like that
It's pretty
skill.
busted. It's pretty
I-
good.
That's why I
It's,
want the
uh,
fire
you
one.
put
The fact
Banish-
that it's on the light one is crazy. I
don't think the light
dude,
one is
whoever gets that for arena is gonna be
yes.
if they're a good player, it's insane for arena.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting.
For arena, for Guild War offense, it's really
But
good.
I don't understand that though. We talked a little bit about it as well. Like, tell me why is it so disgusting compared to like still like using Lucians and stuff that still has because the multiplier on it is kind of bad, isn't it? Like
It's
what makes it?
380. So
Yeah,
what you
but
could do? Oh, go ahead.
no, sorry.
Go ahead, Region.
What you could do with it, what I see on like some videos, is that you bring up fluff damage, and then since he only has a 380, you just finish off, and you don't have to worry about any passives. But like
Yes.
that's the thing though, it makes him like kind of useless skill 2, because if if you have the skill 2 on him, you're already cleaving and you're already finishing everything off. If you're not finishing it off, then that's like you're just not building him right. You're just not doing enough damage. But you don't really need the skill 2 on his kit.
Yes.
You just add so much consistency into these RNG units for arena that just makes your offense success rate a lot better, and also just allows you to hit more. Like
also
beyond lane,
awakens
most of
into
the time they're
courage.
not speed.
He
Yeah.
negates every single type of passive without triggering them. So like
Dude,
Triana just dies, Vanessa just dies, Halfus just dies.
You can combine him with Tosi too. Like
There's no damage mitigation either from
'cause you got
passives.
the 50% light attack lead,
Yeah,
so you go
yeah.
Tosi with the light guy. Yeah.
Camilla
Does
just
he
dies.
ignore Akroma's negative
Everything.
cure rate too? That's insane.
Yep. Everything.
That is what I have not tested yet. I was playing RTA and I tried to seal a chroma and like it didn't work. So I
It's
don't
only
know.
skill 3. It's the skill 3 specific. It's not a passive.
No,
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about just the seal. Could you seal
Someone
a
said,
chroma?
yeah, yes, you can. Someone said you can.
No. We tested it on the last podcast.
Because I tried it. I tried an RTA and it didn't work.
We
'cause
tested it on the last podcast, and
her pass was like Will.
it keeps popping up the God of Shield thing. Some people also told us, Region, that it did work. So I don't know how they and where they tested that from, but when
If
we
it
were testing
says-
it and Lucky was testing
He
it,
probably
he
did it.
could not make it happen. And he
Me
was doing
too,
it
Because
multiple
her
times.
pass was like Will.
I used it in RTA. I felt like a dumbass. I'm like, oh, seal your chroma. It didn't work.
Because
Honest
if you
mistake.
if you see the words God passive or whatever it is pop up, then you know it activated that, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, because
unfortunately.
I 100% know it resists, because I was watching the replays and I saw like the fire one just constantly getting resisted, not
Right.
even through will. So it's like then
Oh.
then I remember I was reading it up just to like see how, because it's a different interaction, right? Not like the typical one. And then I was reading like a couple of comments and people said, "Oh, I was able to seal a chroma," and I'm like, that's
Yeah,
a
you
little
can.
weird to me. And then I'm like, I believe them because they said they did it. So I'm like,
But the thing
So
is that,
the-
I always question those people that give those misinformations, because like, how can you say that, like, I did this when you've never done it? Because it's not possible to do it, right? I don't get how they say it. Or they're saying that, I mean, I would understand if it said, you should be able to S2 La Chroma. But the people that are saying it, they tell you, hey, I did this. And it's like, wait, how did you even do that though? Like, I haven't
That's
seen
all-
it.
They're rolling the dice and hoping they're right, dude. They
I
just
guess
wanna
so.
feel
but that just makes them
They're
feel
a
included.
chroma
that
users.
they contributed.
They are
Let's see.
chroma users baiting us to skill 2.
Ah.
Yes, got him. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you could skill 2 everything though. You could skill 2 Fire Monkey King. You could skill 2 Jaeger.
It's crazy. That skill
I mean,
is so good,
because
dude.
not considered a CC. It's just a banish. Just get it out
Yeah.
of the field.
Can we
Dude,
talk
speed
about
up Fire
how?
Monkey King, everything counters Fire Monkey King.
Yeah.
He sucks.
Everything.
Can we talk about
sucks.
how OP this ceiling is though, in terms of like, do you think this is gonna be something SWC? Everybody's gonna
Yes.
be using it. It has to be some kind of pocket pick or maybe even mainstream draft because of its kit. Because I think it's very
you-
strong, very meta changing. To have that fire art
Especially on
master.
Diana.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely unique though. Like what I've noticed when I was trying to look up like the data mined information of how long the seal lasts, and obviously it says it's based off speed, right? So every single person that like built them like semi fast always says that the bar basically finishes when the fire art master gets 1 turn and a 50% boost. So basically like a turn and a half till the other person pops out. But I don't know if you run like a 320 speed with a 33 speed lead and speed buff,
Goes to 2 turns.
how long would the bar last on the seal?
Like 2 turns. Yeah, I think Lucky was doing some testing. See, he has the Fire Art Master. When he got it, he did immediate testing, and he noticed that there was it was like 1.5 turns and 2 turns of rotation. So I think it's nice. And the thing is that most of the times this Art Master, you will be ruining it fairly quick as well. So it's very, very beneficial, and it can yield some very, very long seals. And this seal is incredible because it literally just takes the unit out. Like it doesn't even exist for that time frame. Yeah, and when it comes back, it comes back with everything that it had previously, all the buffs, all the debuffs, and the same attack bar. So it's a very, very interesting mechanic. Like it's pretty broken. What are you gonna say, Tyler?
I saw someone using a swift one with a Daphnis. So the art master move before the Daphnis sealed the Triana and one shot the Vanessa, and I was like, that's hilarious. That's actually hilarious.
Wait, that's actually so good.
It's so funny. You seal her and she's gone. Her passive doesn't exist. Nothing about her exists.
Oh,
then
She's
wait,
gone.
what was the treat? Oh, go
And
ahead.
then the Daphnis one shot the Vanessa.
Oh, okay. I see.
When the Triana was sealed, so it just came back and there's nothing left.
And it was a unwilled Triana.
Yeah, Nemesis Triana to counter the Daphnis.
Yeah. See, but the
Feels
one,
good, man.
the one. Go ahead.
My Triana's always on will with a really high resist, so I just roll the
That's
dice.
the way I do it.
And it's like what plus 35k HP, so Daphnis can't even one shot it when it gets the defense break.
I think that's the best way, man. Because sometimes they bring a Ganny. Like when I went to the Nemesis Triana after Daphnis became like super meta, right away like people started slapping in Gannies, and it makes you really susceptible to Gannies. And it's so nice when you can not have to draft around the Ganny, and he comes through and he takes the turn one and he does nothing, and they're just like fuck, because they're banking on it being off will.
Yeah, like
So, yeah.
the biggest issue with it as well is like we just discussed, it doesn't go through well and it can get resisted. So if you do get resisted, you are kind of like a semi-sitting duck, which kind of sucks, right? I guess if you run on crit damage, you can do some damage on S1 and of course your S3 strips. We're talking about the fire one, right? The seal. If you don't land the seal, you're a semi-sitting duck though, right? The unit became like really OP to kind of, not doing as much in my opinion. How do you feel?
I mean, at least you did have the AoE strip skill, so.
But you don't get to do it until the next turn, so I mean, it's kind of like he just kind of sits there, right? That big impact play that you have kind of disappeared. It's like Oki S1. I mean, no, Oki turn 1. Sorry.
Like, Thompson, how many super fast despair set do you even use anymore? Like none.
A few. Why? Like Laura has one, Belinus has one, Juno
Like
has one.
you put your top tier despair on the fire art, and he'll be just like a despair stunning unit if the skill.
No. It's gonna be better on the. I'll talk about this later, but it might be better on the wind one versus the fire one.
Oh,
the fire one has 4-turn cooldown, man.
4-turn cooldown for what? The
For
seal.
the third skill.
Oh, the third.
Yeah. So it's like you do it, and then you have to wait 4 more turns to AOE despair stun. Heck no, man. Also, you guys said that this unit might be SWC playable, and I kind of disagree with that. Yeah,
Okay.
Because
why is that?
I don't see it outclassing. Yes, unless you can make the third skill like synergize with like the Beast Riders, which is really cool. But I don't see the third. I don't see him better than like Chiwu Triton ever.
So you're thinking the turn 1 control is better than early turn like scroll like sealing? Because I feel like the seal is the big part, right? You can seal a ragdoll. You can, like we said, we can seal the Triana. We can eliminate something. I can seal the Fran, right? Because it's gonna be pegging at faster speeds than most of those units. You're gonna be able to control what you want instantly on the field, right?
Yeah.
You think it's not viable to have that seal skill against that though?
I think. Well, I know for sure in SWC you're gonna see a lot more Chiwus than you do Joguns.
Yeah.
And the fact that Jogun like strips and doesn't do anything, it's just like strip and attack buff, makes you really susceptible unless you're perfectly speed tuned or you bring it with attack bar booster. But
with Savannah,
like that,
Savannah.
But you have to be speed tuned.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like unless you make the third skill work synergize really well with your team, then like in most cases, Chiwu's a lot better than Jogun, And then sometimes with the attack buff, like you could get cut by Daphnis or whatsoever, and you get cut that way too, But I don't see a way that, because I've used Laura for a good year, and Laura and Jogun's kind of similar. Like people could say it's not, but one does attack buff, one does defense buff, one does seal, one does AOE stun and slow, and those monsters, they could work. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a stripper, but Chiwu, Triton, Gianna, stuff like that, it's just gonna be way more consistent than Jogun.
What do you think about using the Fire Red Master against like slower comps, right? Slower toxic comps, the ones that you're gonna be battling out. I think they're good. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot stronger for that then, right?
Against slower comps is gonna be really good, but when you're playing against a slower comp, like the chances of like, I don't know, like I guess I still need to test it out some more. But when I find Jogun good is when I bring it against a slower comp.
Okay.
And it's like I have to use his attack buff um as a tool. It's very important. Like I bring with bombers, like I go Sierra, Gianna, and then Joe Gunn and Dover. You know,
Mm.
that's a pretty cool team I use. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then the wind one is even worse. The wind one, oh, I got so much to talk about.
All right, tell me about the win one then, because right now we're talking about art masters.
Yeah, the wind one is like like the way I have him built when I first got him is like you have to build him to move before the Ganymede, right? Like if they go Hathor, you go Chungpung Ganymede. But then like he's so much better after Ganymede. But then if he's after Ganymede, he does nothing. You know, he just like push attack bar
Yeah.
back and then
So I have a question since you tested him, right? You know how
Yeah.
like if there's only one turn cooldown, is it like and it has 3 hits, right? So does it add more turn cooldown for each hit when it's at 0, or is only always one turn cooldown?
as whenever it hits 0, it gets 1 turn cooldown. Yeah.
So let's say like everyone's already at 0, and then you Ganymede everyone, and then you skill 3 right after. Does it
You
does
get
it
2.
turn into
You get 2
you get-
turns.
it's a 2 turn cooldown
Because
instead
then
of
there's
just one?
always like little speed. Yeah. Every time you're
Okay,
at 0
yeah,
and you push
you're
back,
right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking it was just like one turn. If it was just purely one turn, even with 3 extra hits on it, it's kind of shitty. It's because like
The
what
weird
Zyros
part-
is better.
The disappointing part is if you make him go before the Ganymede, kind of like a Hathor,
Yeah.
then he does a strip, and you know he won't strip with 85% accuracy. You know, like you lost the match just like that. So that happens very often as well.
Yeah, so
So
the reset only occurs when the unit is already at 0 and the skill is hitting, right? So it doesn't it's not how we want it to be, where it's like if that skill reduced it to 0, that hit right there counts as a increased cooldown. That'd be nice, right?
Yeah, and we all know when we look at Chungpung that like Chungpung's supposed to be on a crit damage build because the attack type monster,
Right.
but it's heavy on accuracy. It needs a lot of accuracy.
Does it awaken to accuracy? It does, doesn't it?
It awakens to crit rate.
Oh,
Crit, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
I mean, I guess it alleviates the crit rate that you need on him. So hopefully you can gain that accuracy on maybe your slot
He's
2.
not a cleave monster. That's the thing, though. He's more of a CC monster. Like
Yeah, that's the
Zyros
weird
is a
part.
cleave. It's like Zyros is so much better. Like in my opinion.
Yes. Oh my god. So Zyros is so much better in that slot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what he's supposed to be doing right now, he's because Zyros doesn't have the ATB reduction, right? But it doesn't really matter because he has the full cooldown reduction. That's the most important part. You have it like if you need to combo with Ganymede plus this just to get 1 turn or 2 turn cooldown reduction, plus he doesn't do that much damage, it's kind of pointless.
And it's weird. Like I would bring it into monsters. Like while I'm testing it out, I would bring it into monsters. I thought it would counter, and it wouldn't counter it. Like, you see a Diana being drafted. You're like, oh my god, yeah. You see like Diana, Vanessa, and Triana. You're like, okay, it's time to bring in the Chungpung, decrease cooldown, and then land glancing. Right? It feels like Chungpung's the perfect scenario. Well, no way, because actually Diana counters Chungpung. Because every time Chungpung lands an attack, Diana's attack bar goes like this. You know what I mean? And at
Yeah.
the end, it's just like
So the same thing with Nemesis then, right? Somebody said in chat that if a unit has Nemesis, then it kind of won't work with Chungpung. Is that
Yeah.
right or not?
yeah, it's pretty tough. Like right now I have Chungpung at I had Chungpung like at 275 speed, and now I dropped him all the way down to 220 speed. I'm going to test him out this way, and I'm just going to use it against like Tetras and stuff like that.
Are you
see
running
how it
crit
works.
damage?
Huh? On crit damage, yeah, for sure. That's the only way to build him or
Yeah.
her. Yeah,
Is it
him.
despair or violent?
Violent? Yeah. I do think despair. I do think despair is a good build on him, but 4-turn cooldown each skill.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like what? And the second skill doesn't land. Second skill doesn't strip consistently.
What if you ran him like a like the way I run my Herzog, like speed attack HP with like 50 accuracy instead of running the crit damage? So you don't you're less likely to proc them.
So like how some people build Savannahs.
I still think he's kind of
That could
pointless.
work.
Like 1 turn cooldown. It has to with the big stipulation that it has to be at 0. Plus, there's like so many things that counters with Nemesis, and just the fact that there's other passive that counteract it. It needs to be like a full.
So Nemesis applies after the push. Then is what you're saying.
I think the Fire Succubus is still better, isn't it, though? That's how I look at it. The Fire Succubus has a way of cycling her skills, and she works really well with some of the units that you're probably going to take the
Yes.
wind guy with, like
Yes.
Hathor.
Fire Succubus is better, and Fire Succubus strips more consistently.
And he synergizes with Hathor, doesn't wake stuff up under sleep. So
Yes.
I mean Chi.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that they could improve the reduce the requirement for the cooldown increase to maybe even just take it out entirely. Or yeah.
Maybe just take it
Someone
if
was
you
really
reduce
underwhelming
attack
to
bar.
me.
Or just make it a full
Yeah, if you reduce attack
cooldown
bar.
reduction, like Zyros. That would make it so much better.
Right? Like
What if
Like,
they
why-
just what if they just
versus
change the attack
Zyros?
bar? Why don't they just change the attack bar reduction to 100% per hit? Just so that it will more likely
Yeah,
consistently
that's the
reduce.
same
Right?
thing as they're
yeah,
saying.
yeah, that would be.
Wait,
so
is
good.
that what you just said? Is that what you just
Yeah,
said?
no.
Or... Did you just say that or no? Sorry, I missed
Well,
it.
same idea, different wording. They're saying
Oh,
like,
okay.
make it so if it hits 0%, then it increases cooltime.
Right,
and
because then
your
that means that you
idea of
can
making-
first
yeah.
hit do that and then maybe get 2 resets, or first one and then second one. Even if you miss the first one, the second one, since it's a full reduction, you can deplete the whole bar, and then you'll get that one chance of resetting on the third one, which is nice. That'll make it more consistent. I don't think that's broken either, right? Because the main goal is reducing the attack age to 0 technically, so it's not broken.
Yeah, 50% was a weird number. It was like 50, 50, 50. It's like, okay, 150.
Yeah, even 75 would have been a better amount. You know what I mean? For like units that.
Was it just me and I'm not skilled enough, but like he sounded like the strongest one out of all of them if all his skills work, you know?
I don't know. Fire sounded the strongest to me.
I thought so too. I thought Wind was really strong with the
Like
fire.
AoE strip, glance, and like, you know, cooldown, attack bar deduction. He seemed like the best one.
But then it didn't happen. I think because there's just too many stipulations, and then the cooldown reduction is just too low for one turn.
Yeah, and skill 2 never lands. It really never lands.
They don't have a skill 2, my friend.
Yes, it's like not even there.
Unless you root on despair, you cannot unlock skill 2. Must root on despair to unlock skill 2. That's basically the stipulation of their skill 2s.
So can we talk about the fact that wait,
Yeah.
hold on.
What's up?
Hold on. So his skill 2 is 75% chance of strip, right?
I don't know. It feels like 0,
Oh, yeah, no,
man.
it's
Like,
not. It's 100% chance of split. What is it? To strip, and then 50 plus the 15 and 10 for the glancing. So you're just not noticing the glancing. There's a 25%.
I think it's actually 75 for both, isn't it? We're talking about the S2 AoE strip, right?
it's
Yeah,
100%
it's
strip.
I think it's worded as 100, but the thing is that we talked about
don't
this,
feel
and I
like it.
believe it's 75. Yeah, I believe
Well,
it's
I
75.
don't
It's
have
weird. No, you what you thought, Rujin, was what I thought at first too, until I was told by people. Yeah, it is worded as 100 for the strip and 75 for the debuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I feel it's
believe
actually 75
Brian.
for both. Yeah.
After heavy testing and lots of L's, I definitely do believe Brian.
Yeah, I feel like it might be 0% after toxins testing because I don't
Why can't they just
So
put
wait,
a
wait, but Laura's got a worse strip chance than that too. So if you're saying that's 0%, then Laura clearly needs a buff.
Well, Laura has.
Why
has-
can't they just put a number after every debuff? It's
I
like
know.
strips,
why?
75% chance. Glancing, 75% chance.
Why
Like,
do we
why
have to
can't they just put the
guess?
number right after? It would be so clear and so
Exactly.
concise for every skill in
I
the
would
game.
love that.
You know who has a better strip now than like who has the worst strip? It was Praha who had the worst strip, like 90% chance. Now it's these guys.
Laura.
Yeah.
If it's actually 75. But I believe you guys. If you guys, since Thompson tested a lot, I think 75 chance is not awful for a strip.
It says 50%, but you have to look at the skill ups. We're talking about after skill ups. We
Yeah,
don't talk pre skill ups. We talk after skill ups always, guys. I don't know.
Oh,
Lots of people in chat say 50%.
Also with the Laura, back to the Laura thing and Iris, right? Because they're multi hits. That's why like
Yeah, they're
even
multi-
multi hits makes it better because the chance increases.
Yeah, but I've had a match. You saw that match where
Yeah, I
she
saw that
literally stripped Will off one unit.
I mean that's
Brian
the,
knows about Laura. Wait, is it 85?
What?
Laura's 60, isn't it?
Yeah,
No,
but you
I
have
mean,
multiple
85%
chances.
accuracy.
Wait, what?
Invictus.
Oh, he's
Your
asking.
Laura accuracy.
He's
Andrew. is it-
asking
what's
you
your
Invictus, your Laura's
on your Laura?
accuracy.
Oh, I thought he was talking to you. It's 85.
Okay.
Oh, and what's Laura's speed? And what's Barbara's speed?
105.
And what's Barbara's speed? Shit,
I
as
actually
we're
don't know what
fishing
his-
here, I
actually
might as
don't
well
know what
fish
his speed is
everything.
gonna be, dude. I don't know what his speed. I have to do a full account optimization. It's been like a month and I haven't touched it.
it's
I've been busy.
105.
He
But,
runs
this is-
Laura 85 accuracy at base speed.
I was
Ah,
on my account, and I'm like,
Yes.
if you want to, Alondra was playing on my account, and I was like, if you want to counter Laura, just bring in Wusa. It'll never strip anything.
but your account was fun to play on. I did use Laura, but it was obvious against
Why do you
teams that
do
you know
this
just
to
had
me?
like one buff Will, so it kind of can be semi-ish consistent in stripping that, but
Yeah,
still
yeah.
not enough, honestly. All right. Any other discussions here for the Art Masters? I guess you guys want to talk about the last one here, the one that we're all thinking of, the dark one. How broken is that thing, dude?
Oh,
How
on paper, when I read it, it looked like the best one, but I don't know
I've heard
what's the
it's just
hype
okay.
behind the light one.
Really?
I
think it's
don't
pretty
think
strong.
the dark one's that good. It's the threat state's only 2 turns, by the way.
What
Oh, it's
people have
2
been
hits.
saying is that it's not that good.
Selected threat state.
Cleanses, though.
Selected threat state with cleanse, my friend. Gaining an additional turn. Yeah,
I'm not like you
Mm.
guys that say is not that good. Coming from some of the RTAs a lot, right? I feel like the dark art master is a really good slot 1 pick. Like you could just slam it in slot 1 and just go like, you know, right? You
Well,
can pick it every game.
Might be bad though because
You
it
can,
kind of.
but I don't think it's the strongest slot 1 pick. There's a lot better slot 1 picks.
Yeah, it's a
still.
safe slot one where they don't really know you can do anything, right?
Yeah.
Technically. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's great.
I
Like,
mean,
you just put it in slot 1 every game, and you can
So-
pivot from any situation.
Very versatile. Yep.
Yeah.
So how many times do you use the fire paladin compared to like, well, like I get it, like the dark one you could pick and it's a cleanse, right?
Right.
But if we would just want to go by the threat state alone, I think like threat state's still an okay buff as opposed to like some OP one. Even though you could put on someone, you know, we could pick and choose. It's still only 2 hits, so which is really low compared to 3 paladins 3 hits. And paladins the cooldown comes off really fast. This is still a 4-turn cooldown.
But you have to
depends,
realize you're
right?
taking away 2 hits out of their rotation. You know what I mean? Depending on the timing of that can be pretty powerful because hey, you want to strip or defense break something, you want to do something, but now your turn order is messed up because now you have to wait until that unit comes back again because you are forced to hit this target that you don't want to hit, right?
Or just get stripped off by Lauren, first turn.
But still forces you to have to try to
It's
strip
not
off
as
and
good-
to hit that unit, right? I'm making you hit a unit I want you to hit. People are saying example, right? Hitting a Miho or whatever. It's just example, right? I can make you hit what I want you to hit, right?
I
don't
think
know.
that this way,
Helps you get your turn
if-
1 combo off.
Yeah, exactly. I think this way, like, there's no way. It's really hard to get turn 1 against a dark art master. Like, imagine like you pick Lauren, and he goes first. Let's just say he outspeeds you, right? It's a possibility that your Lauren's not 320 speed, and then he puts threat state on a triple revenge turn. Then his whole team goes first, and your Lauren's dead, right?
Yeah.
So like at first pick, it's like awesome because like she could put threat state on any unit she want, or she could AoE strip you and you're still dead.
Yeah. We're gonna have to see what other units that it can pair up with, right? But that's why we think it's very versatile because you can make it target anything you want, and that's the crazy part about it, I think.
You slap it on a Miho, you slap it on a whatever, and then like you just first pick him every game, and it's like 70% chance of winning. You know, yes, there's a way to counter it, but like, dude, like that's a strong unit. You know.
I didn't see it from that perspective. I just see it from like purely from the skill, the buffs, and like comparing to like Fire Paladin, right? What does if you want to say that you could first pick Fire Paladin doing the same thing, but I guess you could put it on the triple revenge verd. That's an amazing idea.
So
or
for the
just like AoE
Still, they
strip.
should buff threat state. They still should buff threat state.
So for the people who don't know what threat state does, threat state means you have to target that unit, but you can use skills that AoE still. You can still use your skills, but you have to target that unit. Threat state also reduces your damage. I think it's by 15%. You take 15% less damage.
Yeah, 15%
Yeah,
less damage.
it can also be stripped though. They
yeah,
need to
you
make
can
that
strip it.
unstrippable at least.
So
Right.
it's kind of like it's similar to provoke, but it's not quite the same.
Right. But the thing is, you say you can strip it, but it's like realistically, is the exact turn order of your next 2 turns with a unit with a strip that you would want to use a strip, and you have a strip.
The
to
thing is,
strip
you don't
it.
have to strip it most
You
of the
see?
time.
Yeah,
Like,
you
you
just
don't
have your
have to
force
strip
to
it
hit
because
it.
you just
I
use an
mean, if
AoE
you're
skill
gonna go
anyways.
Going first.
What I'm saying
If
is
you're gonna be going
like,
first though, the idea is the other guy's first units are probably gonna be strippers, right? So there's a
True,
good
true,
chance
true.
that
he doesn't really do anything against Chiwu and Triton
Or Tiana.
or Tiana, like any of those AoE strippers, right? It just automatically his skill 3 just.
it sounds good into like the slower bruiser comps.
He's
That's what it
really
sounds
good to bring
into.
into Daphnis, so you can just get one shot.
That too. Okay. Well,
I don't think it's like if you first pick Dark Art Master and you AoE strip and sleep, Daphnis not doing anything, right?
Where's the sleep part?
No. Like you bringing Hathor.
Oh,
Hathor
yeah,
meta,
but
right?
would he he's not gonna outspeed a Chiwu.
always Hathor. Come on.
what is Chew is
yeah,
base
it's not
speed?
gonna outspeed its
I think
Chew,
it
but there's
could.
other ways around it. I don't know.
It could, but I think most people are ruining it on violent. This
Oh,
Dark
definitely, it has to
Master.
be on violent.
Yeah,
but
so
like kind of like a fast violent set.
yeah, so
The
in that
repeated
sense-
example is like in slower comps, Bird is better. In faster comps, he's not going to outspeed anybody, right? And
Yeah.
even if he does outspeed somebody, like there's still Chu, Triton, Tiana, Nephthys, Gianna, or not Nephthys, Gianna, and Woonsaw. The problem is like he's just not that good of a pick compared to other things, and he's also like extremely premium to own.
I don't know. I feel like he's a
Still think he's
unit,
usable.
man.
He's definitely not a
pretty good.
ragdoll. That's for sure.
I don't know. I feel like he's an S-class unit, man. He works really well with the ragdoll too. Oh my god, yeah.
I put him in S still. That's
I mean,
I'm
it
with
doesn't
Thompson.
really
Easily,
matter.
yeah.
If you have a ragdoll there, it doesn't really matter who you put threat state on because it just crits.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. But it's
He's
good.
like a
with
worse
ragdoll.
Pater.
It reflects damage now. I don't know. I don't have a ragdoll or a dark.
Wouldn't he be just kind of? He's kind of similar to Lima almost in a way, right?
I think Lama's better. Slow debuff is really good.
I think Lima sucks.
I don't know.
That's probably what he's
Any,
most
I just
similar to.
feel like anytime you have the ability to force your opponent's move in the match and control how they move, it's a powerful mechanic, right? Whether they're gonna strip it or not, you're forcing them on something. You're forcing them to go somewhere, right, and do something. That's always like a power play. It combined with the low cooldown, right? Because you get a turn. It's only 3-turn cooldown, and the AOE cleanse. That's big, right? You get AOE cleanse all the time. That's pretty big, especially if you're running.
I would still use him over Laura.
But when you're fighting against an all
Not
AOE
lying.
team, he's dead useless. I mean, it's pretty much.
Well, you wouldn't pick him there. Not every unit's supposed
Well,
to be picked
well,
into every comp.
Well, see, Thompson was saying he's the first pick unit, right?
Yeah, this is the argument for like
Right,
why
right.
you don't bother first
Yeah.
picking him because it's just easy
Yeah,
to
I
build
would
around
first
it.
pick him. It's a little-
Because
it's a
because
little-
if you're drafting him first and then the entire team, the enemy team's already drafting Cleave, the threat state's kind of pointless.
Yeah, I'd still lock in your speed lead and your main CC'er first.
Unless you play him on Swift, surprise. No, but it doesn't matter if they're AOE cleaving, right? It doesn't make a big difference.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see as more people have to get it first, and then people are able to test it, right? But on paper, still, I think it's something to not forget about. A unit to not just like shy on. I think it has some potential, good S tier qualities.
I do agree. It's a very very versatile unit. I like him. As opposed to like, but it just what I said, like it kind of like because you get cleaved a lot when you RTA.
Right.
From the regular seasons. I don't know about you guys. Every time when I'm playing like within the G1, G2 areas, it's like 90% of the time someone's cleaving.
They can't outspeed you, Ryujin. You're too fast. So yeah.
No, well,
and you're
I
a
don't-
cleaver yourself. So
but I don't.
Or you
cleave
just build tanky. You have like
He doesn't
you do, like,
cleave. He
double
picks
lightning.
Artemil.
Yeah, I
Right,
like.
you just go like
no,
right, just go like
I played
double
against him
double
before.
lightning
He's
amps.
a cleaver himself.
This man picks single target snipe and then an Artemil.
Yeah.
He picks Odin Hertiot Artemil.
Oh,
Yeah, he likes to fight 4v3 with those toxic units.
Because I like playing with my fun units. I just don't because like I know everyone can Lucian, everyone can do the thing, and I don't want to do it.
Well, now that you have the Barbara, you probably don't even need to pick Arda anymore. You just pick Hertiot, Odin, Barbara, Bastet plus one.
Like Arda is just so much fun with Masha too because when I have not Masha, Barbara because with the extra defense break and he's actually moving when my Barbara actually moves, so I'm actually killing people. That's the fun part.
I will say it's not that bad. You take her with you take him with Barbara because she sucks into Arda. Like it hurts a lot. She gets dismounted if you don't do enough quick enough.
Yeah, Arda just does enough damage as that bruiser that it's too much for Barbara to be able to handle because most Barbars are decently squishy. Yeah.
Arda is good against all the beast riders.
Yeah.
Even though they armor break, but it's like a 3-turn armor break, and if it misses because the Arda has high res, then yeah.
You do have advantage of high res versus them because most of them don't have that high accuracy to compensate, so you get some advantage.
Besides
to that.
Barbara, because she awakens into accuracy.
But still, you're not pegging more than like 60%, like 50% usually, right? Is where most.
The really
of it-
nice thing that you have
your
with
Barbara's
Barbara.
gonna hit.
The nice thing you have with the Beast Riders against Arda though is if Arda knocks you off your mount on his turn, then you get a full turn on the dismount, and you have plus 100% damage, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
Like,
but
you can
still,
actually hit
Arda-
really hard.
And then Arda will revenge.
Yeah, but Arda one shots at like one turn or like
No, but I'm saying like that one turn difference is often enough to just like finish the Arda off in the 1v1s.
Arda's tanky,
I don't-
dude. Arda, he's not killing an Arda.
How much damage is a Barbara doing, bro?
Yeah.
At 30, 40%, you're hitting really, really hard at 30,
Attack, crit damage,
40%
attack,
HP.
Barbara. We don't take first turn with this Barbara.
But now
Okay, so the thing is, like,
Barbara.
when you're playing those matches against the Arda mill, oftentimes you're getting to like 30%, 40% HP, and it's Arda versus 2, right? Between your 2 units, if you can bring that Arda down to like 30%, he knocks you off the mount, you're going to kill him with your skill 2 if you crit.
I've killed so many Beast Riders with Ardas. Just when they get off the mount, and then they do like a little hit, poof, they're dead.
I like that. Poof.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he hits you on his turn, then you get a turn on the mount where it's different. Like, if you attack him and he knocks you off your mount on the revenge, then he kills you because he just moves first, right? But if you get that turn, you have a huge advantage because a lot of damage output on the first turn of a Beast Rider on human form because you're completely cleansed
It's only
and
on
you get a
skill
bonus
two, though.
damage. Yeah, well, of course it's on skill 2, but you still get a ton of damage.
Just a side note, I forgot to touch on the fire art master. When you seal them with like a bomb, they come back out with a bomb on. So like whatever harmful effects you have on them, if you seal them with a sleep on, they come back from the sealed with sleep on. So
It's a time freeze, yeah. It like just freezes
Yeah,
time for them.
yeah.
It takes them
I
out of
just
the
thought
battle.
it's important, and they come back with the same amount of
Good to know.
attack bar they were previously from when you sealed them.
Right, right.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to another topic. There's some really good discussions on the Art Master, String Masters, and some kind of tangent topics as well. We did have this topic number 2, but I think we're going to skip it. We actually have been talking a lot about Siege and whatnot, so I kind of want to skip this topic into topic number 3. Yeah, topic number 3 is just a little bit more open, kind of like what we're talking about, but what other quality of life changes can we suggest to the game? Right, I like talking about these, and it's been a little while, so I want to suggest some things into the game, which could be anything. But go ahead.
I need to talk about one, and I hope Cop to Us is listening. I already kind of mentioned it to one of the employees already, but when there's 2 units left and you seal 1 unit and you kill another unit with the Fire Art Master, the game lags, and you have to wait for like 20 minutes unless the other person quit.
Oh,
Really?
there's a little glitch then. Interesting.
It's like 100%. It happened to me like 50 times. But the annoying part is whenever you seal, you're sealing monsters like Leo or sealing monsters like Miho, right? So then the other person still thinks they might have a chance to solo your whole team. So they don't leave. And then they just stay there. And then, okay, you're not going to leave too. So you just stay there.
I mean,
and you end up having to sit for like a 20-minute game.
probably some kind of not optimized mechanic in the game.
Yeah, it's definitely bugged. It's like if you seal the last unit or if you seal 1 unit and you kill a unit, then the game lags out.
Right, because the game is waiting to pop that seal out, right? Because technically that guy's got to come back for you to finish your battle. That seal.
It doesn't pop out. It just lags and then it stays there. And then both of you guys lag and then you have to wait like 10 minutes.
And then what happens? The game ends, or does it actually pop out and then you finish
And then
it?
like you auto for like 3 turns and all of a sudden like it goes back to the match and it's like, oh, like everything goes really fast. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Good to know. That's definitely something that we should tell Comptos. I'm sure they probably heard about it. Anything kind of big issue like that, they probably heard about it. But if they didn't, something to
I'm
look
actually
into.
surprised it's not fixed like right away because that's a major glitch.
So maybe they didn't hear about it. Yeah, that's a pretty major
Like,
glitch.
people would think I'm like roping them, but I don't rope anybody, and it's just like kind of like weird, you know? It's really awkward.
Yeah,
Also, I gotta-
we nobody here ropes, man. It's just lag, right?
Yeah.
All right.
You guys are toxic.
Some of the things I wanted to bring up is what are your thoughts on that surprise shop that they had? Maybe is that something that they should bring back a little bit more often, once in a while, with maybe some resources to kind of give to the players, maybe from month to month or whatnot. I thought the surprise shop was kind of cool, right? Even though some things were. Go ahead.
Anything new that you could buy and it's just for fun. Well, it's not fun. You still have to buy stuff, right? But the free energy, like every once in a while, like it gives some people to like look forward to. Like, oh, I wake up, like I get another free energy, or I get something I could grab. It's like anything stuff like that is just like enjoyment for people.
Yeah,
I was checking the game. They don't have it anymore. The surprise shop.
Yeah, it was a limited time. Like, so I'm thinking, I've been pushing for 4-star Devilmon for a while. Once in a while, I mean, this could be month to month or bi-monthly, right? You can put some random stuff in there. If we want to buy it, we can. If you don't want to buy it, it's fine, right? Crystals for transmog stones, crystals for a 4-star Devilmon or something like that. Like some cool things that we can, receive from that they can put in this special store, right? It would make sense in this special surprise store if they would do it a little bit more often, but maybe not call it surprise store, since maybe we know how often it comes back.
So for the skill up thing, I would actually rather them not put 4-star skill ups in that store, because then it sets the precedence that they don't have to run 4-star skill up events anymore. And I think that they've run a decent amount of 4-star skill up events, and they probably will run more in the future. And I would prefer them not take that away from them.
I don't think it would take away from the events.
I agree with Brian on this as well, because as an in-game player and someone that's been playing for like 5 years, it's hard for someone that's only been playing for like 2-3 years to catch up to where I am, only because
Yeah, but they have to spend crystals. They're gonna have to spend their resources to get that. I'd rather they just not set the precedence that this is something that they would rather sell instead of just give it to us for free.
Yeah, but for
Right.
the amount of like HOH I've done and all the events I've done, don't you just hope that they do more so people could catch up to at least all the skill ups that I up?
So
already up?
yes, it would be greater to have both, obviously, in the end. But I always worry that by setting the precedence of saying, "Hey, we're going to sell this," they stop giving away as much of it for free, or entirely stop giving it away for free.
Or they can give us
I
more
don't
for
think they
free.
will.
I mean,
I mean,
see what you're
obviously they
coming
can,
from.
right? It's an arbitrary point. They can do either of them. Historically, this is what happens, which is why I have this perspective.
Whoa, historically, okay. Well, if you
Like,
say
look at other games. Tons of
historically,
other games do that.
it's not
right?
arbitrarily, then fine. I believe you, man.
I would say that your idea and your thought process, Tyler, is right. I would hate for them to take away skilling up events, but me personally, I feel like the more things that they've sold in the past in terms of packs and stuff, the more that they've given away free, technically as well, right? That can be a fair statement as well, technically, right? But we don't know for
If
sure.
it's on a monthly
It's-
basis. If it's on a monthly basis, it's not that much to ask. It's
Right.
I would
pretty
rather have it be like
still.
a separated currency that's not crystals. Like if we could buy it with glory, or we could buy it with guild point glory, right? Stuff like that.
I agree. It'd probably be nicer that it would be tied to like some content that you do already in the game to improve the incentive in that area.
The point is,
It'd
I
be a lot
don't
better than
want
playing
it to be
shop.
taken away from crystal value, because by taking the crystal value setup, you're basically encouraging people to farm less.
I got it. Unknown scrolls to purchase.
Oh yes.
Huh?
I fucking
Yo,
hate
Yo,
them.
how about they give us
Mhm.
one extra every? They give us a 4-star double one every month for. No, I wish we could get more rewards. Like they could add things like that to like TOA hard or stuff like that.
Spend
You know,
your
nothing
unknown
I think
scrolls.
that'd be nice.
Get rid
Nothing's
of my
more
goddamn unknown
discouraging-
scrolls. Go ahead.
Nothing's more discouraging for a new player. He pulls like 3 new nat 5s. He doesn't have enough devil mons to rune to skill up the monster, and he can't use them, or nat 4s as well. So I do hope Comtos comes out with more ways to skill up monsters, and 4-star or 5-star.
Still
Speaking
have
of
that
new
problem. It's
currency-
never ending.
Speaking of new currency, what I want changed is the dimension hole. The runes that you get, right? So I think we talked about it last week,
Mhm.
like with or like the previous
Probably
week,
previous, but go
The,
ahead.
the crafting. The crafting,
yeah, the
right?
crafting, right? So
Yes.
instead of just like you want to just purely all 6 stars instead of just giving us 5 stars, like we could stick with that. Either sell it or break it down into a new type of currency, like ancient rune pieces, and then craft grinds and runes with it. Instead of what we have right now, right? We have to be there for you to even craft runes, right? You need to do more of the regular ones. You have to skill up you have to 2A something, right? Let's say you already
Yeah.
2A'd a lot of stuff, so you're just doing that just to get more crafting material to craft, but you're never gonna do that because you rather just farm for the runes or farm for the grinds.
Mhm.
Like give us a currency where we could actually target, like, oh, we have enough currency and we don't have enough grinds. Just like me, it took me 3 months to get one fucking grind. Just I could craft my grinds.
There's also an imbalance too in the. I think it feels like there's a big imbalance in like the
There is.
resource drop, like the way that the purple, not the purple, the orange ones drop in like close to like 25, and they feel like they drop a lot more frequently than the rune pieces themselves. But 25 is like half of one rune craft, and it feels like the other pieces, it's like you need 3 drops to craft a rune. So it's like or 3 or 4, and then also they're area specific, which makes it even more annoying because you can't decide which rune you want to craft. It's specific to the area you were farming the 2A in. So it just feels like you don't get enough to craft enough runes to get the possibility of a good rune. That
Right.
is
We
what
do
I've
we
seen.
do have to keep in mind though that Comtuous is aware of like ancient runes and whatnot, and they want to kind of control, right, the average amount of those runes getting put into the actual game. You know what I mean? Like into
I get
the
it.
into the pool,
been a-
right?
How about gems and grinds then?
It's been,
Just
it's
give us
been
gems
a
and
year.
grinds.
and
That's
I
why
haven't gotten a single rune ever from crafting.
that was
good.
good enough for you, right? Technically, but
Yeah, I think a year is a little too stingy.
But that's-
If you were to get one in a year, it's probably because you're farming 2A skill ups, and most people don't farm 2A skill ups.
Yeah, I mean I've 2A'd like basically every meta relevant monster. So
I mean, it's annoying to
Yeah.
have like
Did you
3
2A
to
con?
4.
No, I'm just kidding.
Like I have like
that's who I what?
con.
Con.
Did you
Wait,
did you skill
Never
con?
mind. Forget about it.
I'm gonna ask again.
My theory is if you 2A con, you're gonna pull a Narsha because Comtos will feel really bad.
I'm doing it right now. I'm literally doing it right now.
And you're gonna get an Narsha, man.
Okay, I believe you. How many more LD scrolls do I need first?
26, 28
Shit.
LD. Yeah, save 28, and then level up a con, and you have to use it in like 100 times in RTA, and then you'll get.
I've already used con non-2-aid like probably 300 matches.
Whoa.
Speaking
Okay.
of the Narsha, right? Was yours violent or swift?
Violent, yeah, for sure. Its passive makes it so good on violent, right, Jin?
Wouldn't also benefit from the swift just because? No, I guess not. Never mind.
You don't
No,
really need
I
damage
feel
speed
like-
advantage.
So many turns.
All the Beast Riders are just nuts on violent. They do so much every time they proc. The damage is really, really high, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think though if you only have one Barbara, it's still best to run her on Swift.
Do we know if the attack speed of the 35% increase is it base or is it total?
Oh, I don't know that.
What are we
I
talking
just
about?
pulled her yesterday, so yeah.
Narsha.
Oh, 35%. From Narsha.
Yeah,
Narsha's
like,
just-
It's from the base.
No one
I believe
used
it's from the
her.
base.
No one really used her. you
I
know?
think it's from the base.
It must be from base. That'd be crazy if it was.
Yeah,
from,
so you like
total
get like
speed.
37 speed, so you end up being like a crazy high speed unit that like starts lapping like crazy.
Like speed buff is total speed.
Right, but I think in terms of that, my guess will be from the base. If not the base, that'd be even ridiculously insane. Okay, so some other suggestions I had in terms of quality life changes to the game. We did touch up briefly on this before about like increased cooldown from like S2s from like Samantha and whatnot. You know, I think in RTA, I think it's a strategic game where you need to remember and be able to analyze the battle and pay attention. But you know, it's not easy to be able to see the increased cooldown from Samantha and whatnot, right? That was one of the suggestions I talked about in the forum. If they could make that a little bit easierly notable, so that we can
I got
tell.
a good idea for this. I have a good idea
my
for this.
God, Brian,
Sure.
you know how hard is it to read it when you're using
So-
Chung Pong?
Yeah,
Well, especially when you
yeah.
crit. When you crit,
Or
it's
the
even
fire
worse
sparky base, that's
because then
my
you can only see like
fire
half
sparky.
of one side when you crit.
Chung Pong
Exactly.
awakens to crit.
And
You
let me
can't-
and
you
let me
have
say
to
this:
crit.
if a unit you have on the field is like a Diana or a Nemesis or there's a Ragdoll, good luck. Good luck seeing what the hell you need
Just
to
add
see.
Dude, all they have to do is add a color to it, or like a number.
Right.
Or
So
an
what they do
icon,
is
something.
they do a little plus
Label.
1 in red, or so you can see it, right? Because you can always see a
There
plus
you
1
go.
in red on the border. So if it get a plus 1 on red, that means they increase the cooldown by 1.
Right. Some
If you don't see a plus 1, nothing happens.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
Perfect.
That's fine. That's easy.
Yeah, even if they want to make it so that we have to remember it, you know what I mean? Strategy, a little bit high brain. We just need to be able to know which one for just a second or two or a couple seconds to kind of tell, right? Okay, those three got it. Okay, good. Now I'll remember it. And if I forget, that's on me,
Absolutely.
right? I forget, but
Yes.
I can't even see it
Absolutely.
to be able to tell.
Just make it easy. Yeah, you said like the
Yeah.
color. I think if it changes just the color, everyone would know. You like.
What color though?
look,
What color, though, bro?
The thing is
Okay.
also the text is really long and it overlaps. So adding a small indicator I think is the best. That's why I suggested like a small number,
Right.
because it's not like it doesn't destroy your vision of the screen, right?
Like crits are all yellow, right? So just yellow, and then you toss a little red. You know, like what the red is. Just that's it.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Or
it
even if it's not color based, even if they just put like a plus 1 above it in black
Yeah.
text or something,
right.
right?
Yeah.
As long as there's something
Yeah, I
that you
think
can
something above the
visually
unit is
indicate.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's
Like
extra space
instead
that's
of
never
the
used.
words increase cooldown, we get the plus 1 above the head, like Tyler said, just so I can see it for like a second, right? Then I know easily that it's there on top. Yeah. So
That would be really nice.
the other thing that I said as well is, what do you think about shields, right? When you're playing a game and you're analyzing your best move, right? Isn't it semi-frustrating sometimes where, I mean, obviously you can gauge a shield on how much HP it has, but do you think there should be an indicator to kind of know a little bit more feasibly how much HP they have? Like ticks on a shield to notice like, hey, this shield is, 1K or this shield is 3K? Or
Should
you
have
guys
like- have a rough
Kind of like
estimate on it.
evaluating
I
HP
do
levels.
like that. I like,
Because, like, what if
I
there's a
like
re-
But no,
shield.
but
I
Brian,
do like that. How,
Okay, go
how
ahead.
much HP is
But-
left on the shield, right?
Right, we don't
No,
need to
but
know
like-
exactly, but I like a rough estimate
Oh, like a
ballpark,
red,
right?
yellow, green. Yeah, that'd
Maybe,
be nice.
maybe, because like things that happen is like Bastet will buff, right? We'll have a shield, and then whenever there's a different shield that comes in, it replaces that shield. So kind of being able to acknowledge and know that kind of information again is something that you can use as a player to analyze to battle. What
I
do
think
you
also
guys-
just knowing that is not super difficult. I mean,
Like-
that's a pretty like advanced specific mechanic. I don't blame people who don't who are more casual to not know that. Like they don't know that. That's fine.
I don't like I'll be the opposite. I don't like that idea because it kind of like there's like a
Yeah.
mind game things, right? So there's people who, let's say I'm alone a lot, and
Okay.
I need to figure out what type of shield it is, right? So if it's like a, let's say, Daphne's shield, right? And Daphne has low HP, I can never break the shield with a skill 3 because it's based off of his HP and how big of a shield it is. So let's say, and then like if it's like a Bastet shield, I know exactly that it's always a set amount versus someone like a Wusa or let's say the damage one, Daphne's type of shield, right? Daphne's shields increased by his damage.
Mhm.
Like you need to figure that out yourself. I think I like that aspect, the fact that like I'm
Okay.
already trying to figure things out.
That's why I brought it up.
Without having
respect
to
that.
know
Only
the exact number or or is it like estimated number?
Mhm.
Estimated is just basically knowing the exact number because
Yeah.
you don't really like need to like.
Or not estimate. It's like maybe every 1,000 there's a tick, or every 1,000 there's a different mark. So 1,000 is different from a 2,000, different from a 3,000. So you can get a ballpark estimate, right? I'm just all about bringing more information to the player so that players can focus more on the battle and other strategies involved in the game, right? I'm just putting it out there. That's why this is quality of life suggestions, right? To kind of discuss. But it makes sense. I like that. What were you gonna say, Invictus? Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. As long as you're not putting out like a certain percentage, yeah. Maybe if you want to change, like have one indicator color change, but definitely no more than that, because then it takes away too much ambiguity, which is for the player's benefit with the shield that uses the shield.
Okay.
So I agree with Rai. Because I mean, if you're using if they're using a Bastet or like the demons, you already know this shield's gonna be fixed percentage of their level, which is like what 6K.
Just under 6K, yeah.
Yeah. So you can kind of gauge, and I think it just adds that extra layer of skill.
And you also
I guess
got a rough estimate.
different
Like
hit.
Wusa's based on his HP. Daphnis is half of the damage he deals. Like these
Yeah,
are just
yeah.
things you know from playing, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I also think that one of the big reasons why I don't think it's gonna be a good idea is because for the most part, it's gonna clutter the screen more, and I don't want to clutter the screen more. Like we don't have a lot of
save
time
the-
between
save
things.
the
I don't
room.
want to clutter more.
Save the room for the increased cooltime indicator, please.
Cool.
Shields do not stack unless it's shield runes and a shield buff.
Right. But
Shields
shields do get
replace
replaced.
each other.
But sometimes if you missed it, you don't know which one's been replaced. Let's say a low HP target
So
as well as a
I think
low
it works
HP
as like
unit.
longest duration replaces even a bigger shield, if I recall correctly.
Mm.
So like if
I
you
thought it
shield
was just
and then
always
take
the
a turn.
newest one will replace.
Yeah, I always know it's the newest one.
Is the
Okay.
newest? If it's always the newest?
Well, if you say the newest one, then technically that's the longest.
Yeah, then
duration.
you're technically right. Technically, yeah.
Well, if you get a 1-turn shield, right? Or like if you have a 3-turn shield and then you pop a 2-turn shield on it, for example, would it keep the 3-turn or the 2-turn?
Yeah, I think it's always a 3-turn one. I've never seen it though. Is it one
Oh
turn?
yeah. I
There's
didn't think about that.
very situations, very few
didn't think about that.
situations you would ever take a 3-turn shield and replace it with a 2-turn shield. But I'm curious, right?
Yeah, but what gives you 1-turn shield?
No, so if you had like a Wusa shield,
Yeah.
and then like let's say you lost the immunity but you still had the shield, and then somebody debuffed you, you could cleanse it with like a Tetra skill too. Right?
Yeah, but
Commune
that,
shield.
that would be the newest shield with the.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is would it give the newest shield or would it give the shield with 3 turns or would it give the shield that's biggest?
I think my general assumption. I think it gives the newest shield, regardless if the value is less.
Think that's true.
I think that's how it works. Yeah.
It would make the most sense if that were
It makes the most sense logically. Which kind of sucks, right? You would think the AI would be smart to keep the stronger shield. You don't want to lose a shield, but yeah, because that would change the mechanic, right? You imagine that because let's say just somehow there's a shield that's stronger than a Commune shield because your Commune is really weak, right? For it to not put the shield from Commune, like just saying nope, not gonna take your shield from Commune, right? Just because the stats are higher, it doesn't make sense. It actually doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and the reason I didn't like that was because when I used, so this is right before they buffed the samurais, but when I used light samurai, I would get the shield and it would replace my Vistet shield and it would be useless
Oh, so you do kind of know then.
because it goes down to 1 turn. So that's why I was pretty sure that was the mechanic, but I wasn't 100% sure because it's been a couple months.
Right. Okay. Any other visual things? I gave 2 examples there. Is there any other visuals that we have troubles with when it comes to like PvP in the game?
So I was talking with a couple people last week on stream, and someone brought up different colored chat icons for like guild siege and stuff like that. So instead of it just like actually, so you know how when you get like a private message or something, the white little cloud shows up. If a different color showed up for different things. So like if someone wanted to post in siege chat about something or like in guild chat, then a green one would come up or something like that, just so you kind of knew what the alerts were for.
I like that. Piggybacking off that too, what do you think about like a new chat for Siege Day that's just Siege? like just reserved for siege chat. Because like for example, if you're using guild chat for your calls, for example, if you're using guild chat for your calls, it's easy for them to get lost in like general chatter sometimes. Or
That's an amazing idea.
It's also
That's
easy for them to get
good,
lost by
that's
people
good.
upgrading runes and like literally doing
Yeah.
anything, doing guild
Yep.
wars, upgrading runes.
or any notification. There's so many notifications.
I mean, they have enough space for it, right? Right now, what is that? There's normal, there's guild, there's private,
Yeah,
and
there's
then
only-
there's siege. There's when you have siege.
On
There's
Siege- there's four.
Right,
So
there's
they just have
four.
one.
Like a separate siege chat for the guild only, so everyone could. So
Yes.
instructions are there. Be like, you have to hit this at so and so amount of time.
right.
So
and people
what you can do is you can set the battle one and then have a sub tab that's like all and guild. That would be enough.
Yeah, I think that'd be nice because you have
yeah,
the
some
regular guild
separation.
chat. People are talking whatever. You have the siege one that stays there specifically for commands and things going, and you keep that a little bit clearer. I like that.
Or you flex on the enemy by telling them all your strategies, and then they can't stop you because you just take all their towers anyways.
That happens all the time.
And then you big flex on them because you told them what you were gonna do, and they still couldn't stop you.
Now, now everybody's gonna be toxic. Yeah, everybody knows what tower they're gonna hit, and they're gonna type it in the siege chat. We are hitting tower 5, and then you're just gonna take it. That's toxic, dude.
Put it on the
when you-
opposite. Put it on the opposite side. Make sure it's
Yeah,
not.
that's
right
when you
next to
type in.
the
You go.
battle
We want tower 11 red. You got 3
Oops.
minutes to take it. Everybody go. And then you take it in 2 minutes, and you're like, all right, good job, guys.
And then you tell them the time it took you, right? You'd be like, yeah, tower 11 took us 1 minute to take your tower. Yeah, you type that in the siege chat. So, that's our record time. That's the fastest tower we ever took.
It's a strategy. Tilting your enemy is a strategy.
Yeah, it's toxic though.
Okay.
Well, it depends on how
So
you're
you gotta
doing it,
do what
right?
you
If you're doing something
True,
like that,
true.
it's not really that toxic in my opinion. If you're like shit talking people, that's pretty toxic.
I mean, there's always shit
But
talking.
okay, if they started it, you have to finish it, right?
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. I disagree
Okay,
with that.
don't listen. No, I don't do that. Don't worry.
All right. Some other quality of life suggestions and changes. It's a little bit different as well. When you summon a fake 5, it should be max skilled.
No.
I think that doesn't
Just
break
take
the game.
out fake
I don't-
5s. I summoned a fake 5 this.
No. I'm
fake
saying,
5 LD this week.
let me give you guys the breakdown, right? I mean, how would it be game breaking in my opinion, right? Just because you get a unit that's a 4-star, it's a 4-star that's max skilled, right? It could be a random 4-star. You already are that lucky to get a fake 5, right? Believe it or not, no matter how many you see, the average coming from a person that does a lot of summons, is every 10 regular nat 5s you see 1 fake. Now, obviously, people are gonna be like, how can that be true? I've summoned 3 or 2 in 1 session, right? But every 10 nat 5s, 1 is usually a fake in there. So it means every 2,000 scrolls. So it's pretty lucky, right? So getting something like that, I think when you summon, getting the feeling of getting something new, Comp to us likes that, right? Obviously, they like when you summon, but they want you to feel good when you summon. If it's just great, it's a good feeling, right? And that
Okay.
feeling to get a fake 5 and get it max skilled and maybe have something usable and viable as a new toy might be good. Thoughts?
What if? Okay, maybe you could make it a little. A modification you could possibly make to that is it's worth 5 nat 4 skill ups for that unit that you summoned. Like if you summon an awakened 4-star, you can then put it in the power up circle and it counts as like 5 4-star skill ups or something like that. Maybe not fully max skilled.
Or they could be, since it's so rare, right? You say technically, I believe that's a statistic because you have to summon the 4 and then it has a chance to proc into a fake, right? That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's so technically so rare, we could use that as an ancient crystal monster to break it down.
Ancient crystal? No, I don't think they'll let us use fake 5s as ancient crystals though.
35 ancient crystals.
Oh,
Or like give it like a set amount.
I would
right?
do it with every single one fake 5 that I pulled. Every single fake. But you have to instantly use it. You have to instantly transfer it into ancient crystals. You can't just like hold it.
Yeah, that would be a mechanic that we have to set in the game though, because then it has to be set and they'd have to put new rules and they have to code that in, that a unit that is summoned as a fake 5, because it has to differentiate from other units, right?
Yeah.
So that'd be something I have to code in. And are they willing to do that though?
Like what if I summoned one of the magic knights with full skills? I'll be pretty disappointed still.
Still disappointed, but at least you might build it as a fun toy. It's a unit that you've never.
What
built
am I gonna
before.
do with a
You keep it going.
5-star awaken Astar? I'm never gonna use her for
Oh,
anything.
you-
Or what if you already have one that's max skill?
Exactly. What if you pull that unit and it's fucking useless?
It didn't change anything though. It gave you the viability and versatility to build it. I'm talking for the
Yeah,
majority
but now
of
I
players
feel
in the
more
game.
guilty about using it for something else like fodder.
Yeah.
I think it giving you like one nat 4 Devilmon would be fun, right? If you summon a fake 5, you get 1 free Nat 5 Devil
But
Mon
that doesn't make
alongside
sense
That'd be
in
cool.
what they would give us. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense that they would do something like that. That's why, like, I'm trying to think that would make sense, right? Some people said maybe have that fake 5 be a 6-star right away and stuff like that. Like, that makes
For
sense when you summon. You know?
For Devil's Advocate, it doesn't make sense for them to give us anything else than they already do. They save you probably like 3 refills worth of farming to actually make that into an awakened unit, and they save you all the food to make it from 4-star to 5-star.
But the argument with that is that nowadays fake 5s are worth less because you said how much energy it takes to make fodder. Fodder is way easier now than it was before, but the actual percentage chance of getting a fake 5 and the unit itself has not changed over the years. So I'm trying to like compensate for inflation. The value of, you know, the fodder, I guess, is kind of counter argument.
Ancient crystals is way better than just getting, you know, like, because there's a lot of useless Nat 4s. We all know that.
Yeah,
I just don't see much of a value of it. Like, a fake 5 is literally not a Nat 5. Like,
Yeah, it's not even the same.
if you view a fake 5 as I should have gotten a Nat 5, it's just not what it is.
It's not what it is.
If you got a fake 5, you got a coded 4-star, and you had a tiny % chance to get an upgraded version of the same thing.
Wait,
and it is an upgraded version. It is a 5-star fodder, should you choose to use it that way, or it is a skill up or it's a unit that's already awakened, right?
Brian, have you ever summoned a fake Nat 6?
What the fuck is
Or
that?
not even, like
What the fuck did you just say? What?
upgraded
How long you been playing the
Nat
game?
5.
How long you been playing the game? What the fuck did you just say? I don't know. I don't know the words that coming out of your mouth. What the fuck did you just say? I don't even know.
Upgraded Nat 4 as opposed to upgraded Nat 5. That's what I meant. Like a fully, not a fully skilled, a fully awakened.
Have you ever summoned a fake Nat 6?
This man want to summon like a ragdoll 6-star, man.
Yeah, well, because I just went to
Wait,
consistency of like how things are named, right? So it's a fake 5. Upgraded Nat 5 is a fake 6.
You only get one of them from Wish, right?
I don't know. I've never seen one.
You can't summon them that way, but you can summon awakened 5-stars from Wish, I think.
Yeah. Wait, what was your question though? Have I ever summoned what? I'm sorry, I didn't.
An upgraded Nat 5.
What is an upgrade?
Like an already an awakened Nat 5.
Like
I
a
think
Nat.
it only exists from Wish, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's like
No, Wish doesn't even come out awakened. Wish only comes unawakened for Nat 5s. Nat 4s and Nat you can get a LD, you can get a fake 5, you can get a fake 4, you can get a fake 3. You cannot get an awakened 5 from Wish.
Wait, but I thought if you got the 5-star from Wish, wait, it shows up in chat as awakened.
Does it?
But does it show up in your account as? I've never pulled a Nat 5 from Wish, so I have no idea.
From my
All right,
understanding,
where's Jeff? Jeff knows the answer to this.
From my understanding, it comes normal. However you summon it is the same from Wishes, except Wishes are rare, way rare.
Okay. But
Yeah,
it
way rare.
shows up in chat with the actual name of the unit, right?
B says it comes normal. We're good. Oh, that's Pog. Right, so B has probably seen it as well.
We got B in here.
Yeah, so it comes normal.
Dude, Wish is so I just realized pulling a Nat 5 from Wish is so uncommon that I think most of us just are not sure.
So B, is there upgraded Nat 5
No.
that you could summon?
Your
No.
Tianling came as Pandora. Okay, got it, be.
Yeah.
I've never ever seen anyone summon a Nat 5 from Wish.
I have never seen it as well.
Like
I've
from
never
a chat
done it as
channel
well.
or watching a stream ever.
I've seen my
Never
guildie
seen it.
pulled a chroma from Wish before.
Let's just say this. You want to know the probability? The probability of getting a Nat 5 from regular summons, Mystics, right, is 0.5% chance. The chance to get a monster, not even broken down to 3, 4, 5s, from Wish is 0.5% chance. Let's just say that.
That's a higher chance than an LD Nat 5.
But the good news is, right, if you want some more facts, everything summons, I got it. Yeah. When it comes to wishes, if you summon a Nat 5, the probability, right, that Nat 5 becomes whatever element is equal. You have equal chance of getting an LD Nat 5. Like, let's say it's an Oracle. That Oracle has the same chance of being Wind as Light and Dark. There's no higher rarity, which is a difference in Wish. But
Not that we know of.
yeah.
Tinfoil hat.
No. It's confirmed. It's confirmed. You can look at the probabilities, the numbers. It's spread. Yeah, it's actual.
Oh, does it say element spread?
It
does
says the
actually
element
say
spread. Yeah,
spread?
and it's even. Yeah, it's the same probability.
So it's good to know that I have equally 0% chance to ever get a Gianna or a Sierra from Wish.
True.
They should implement an upgraded Nat 5 just because it's an implemented upgraded Nat 4.
You think like a Nat? You need a Nat 6? Or are you talking like what?
Nat 6, just so you don't have to awaken it, just so you don't have to put.
But how about ancient crystals? Man.
Yeah, now you can't use ancient crystals unless they change
Oh,
that.
wait. Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
But,
but
no.
Exactly.
To snowball on what you just said, it would be cool if you could feed like 6-star monsters to
Yes,
crystals,
they need
right?
to. I don't know
Yeah.
why they don't let us do that. If I build a 6-star, I put my investment into it. If I want 300 crystals, let me feed it. I
Yeah,
acknowledge the
why not?
loss. Let me feed it. Right?
Yeah.
Why not?
What monsters do you want to feed?
Let me feed my second and third
Rakan?
Samoth, my second Sierra, my second Perna, my second Annabelle, my
There you
second
go.
Molong.
I want that
There you
piece.
go.
Wait, what?
I have so many useless extra 6
Oh,
stars.
yeah,
I
but-
have
Whoa, 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 whoa!
I
What
have
was the
two
last one
6-star
there?
Rakans.
Oh, wait
I
a
have two
minute. You
6-star Rakans.
you were
Hey,
good. You
Rakan's
were good
good.
until you said
Rakan's
that last
good.
unit there. Which one there?
Second one's
Dupe
not
what?
bad.
Repeat that.
What did you say? Dupe what? What was on your list?
Molong.
Yeah. You don't
I
feed
have
that.
two.
That's useful.
I have 2 6-star Molongs, 3 6-star Samots, 2 6-star Sierras, 2 6-star Pernas, 2 6-star Annabelles, and one more that I
Wow.
can't remember. I just have so many, like, because I pulled all 3
Are
Samots
they
in like a week.
skilled up?
None of them are skilled up. None of the extras
Oh,
are
you
skilled
really-
up.
Are
don't
the
you
Dupes
have
skilled up?
any?
No,
Okay.
none
Don't
of
you have
them.
any?
Pardon?
I mean, Ryujin, don't you have any?
Dupes? Yeah.
Yeah, like that 6-star.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
Wouldn't it be great?
but I actually use those though.
You fully skilled them too, right?
No. The Tianas I didn't fully skill because they're only used for one
I
purpose.
fed my extra Tiana yesterday.
Yeah, but
Like-
here
like-
comes the question.
My Tianas are different
It's
speeds,
so
right?
hard not to feed them now, you know. Like I pulled a dupe Rika and I had to sell it. I had to feed it. Just forget about it, you know.
Yeah. It would be
I-
nice.
Like I also have 3 Zyros, so yeah, I could feed the third one. It's the
I don't even care about getting anything back. Like, I don't want the Rainbow Mon
Yeah,
back. I don't
I
want
got
the essences back. I literally just want 300 ancient crystals. That's all I want.
Same. And I want to
300
inventory space. That's the most important part for me.
It's 2100 ancient crystals. Think about that for a second. Think about how many runes I can buy with 2100 ancient crystals.
You're
a
not gonna
lot.
feed all of them.
Yesterday, I got 2 back-to-back Vio speed grinds from the ancient crystal shop.
That's crazy.
Like,
I've never had that.
That's why the Rika.
Just
just give
buy
me all
one.
these
I
crystals.
just need to buy one thing from that grind shop.
Really? I've seen before. Will grind. All valuable.
I only
That's
take
the best
speed
I've seen.
grinds. I
That's
only take speed grinds for Will and Violent. I don't even take Swift ones right now.
Yeah,
Do
the
you
people
not
the
take,
people that
like,
take
HP
Swift for
Only gems.
I
I
love
take
HP enchants.
Yeah.
enchants. Enchants I do, yeah. In enchants I
gems.
take
so good.
defense, HP, and sometimes attack. I skip all crit damage and I skip accuracy resist as well. And I
could
skip speed gems too.
I could skip like defense and attack or speed, but then like HP, oh, it's like premium, you know. Getting that 13 HP is like, ooh, winning.
Well, I'm the opposite. I need the defense gems. I have tons of
Violent
HP ones already.
That's the only thing I want to look for. I want to see, and speed, obviously speed, but
But I don't take grinds. Like, I don't take HP defense grinds, attack grinds. I only take speed grinds. Because I just, like, ancient crystals are a very limited resource for me.
So limited. And do you struggle to try to get like the 5 reaps every month too?
No, I have pretty good summon rates for 5 stars. I pull a lot of dupes, but my summon rates are good
Oh.
enough that I can usually buy the
That's why
reaps
you're
every
not
month.
getting any LD Nat 5s, man. All
Yeah.
the luck is going to your elemental.
I also don't often get runes. I usually get 1 rune every like 4 to 5 rotations.
like have you ever thought about how crazy the ancient crystals are though? Let's say like if you have to look at like the super whales, right? Let's say like Tomato. The amount of Nat 5 he has and the amount of ancient crystals, he could literally buy every single rune that has a 6 like plus 6 speed, right? And
I mean, you might as well if you're hyper whaling.
Yeah, and then you could the chance of him getting a quad versus anyone else just quadruples.
Tomato can buy anything, dude.
Well, think about when the surprise shop came around,
Tomato-
right? He
Tomato
probably
can buy
maxed out
any
all
of
his
them.
symbols on that surprise shop.
I mean, I never really told too many people. Some people know, but I like to watch poker from time to time. And I was actually watching one of the poker series from a couple of years ago where Tomato was in there. I saw him, and it was it's $1 million
Nice.
cash game. $1 million cash game. Everybody on the table has
Whoa,
millions
oh
of
my
dollars
God.
cash game. And I just
Whoa.
seeing them playing hands. He was playing pretty tight though. But I mean, if he's there and he's on that live feed, he's there with all the other famous poker players and they're playing, man. He's
Dude,
doing okay, man.
I bet you the watch
He's
you
doing
wear
okay.
is worth more than $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting on that
Yeah,
table.
on the side,
Yeah.
like tapping it while looking at his cards.
I mean,
tapping it.
some of the money that's on that table is more money than a lot of people will see in a long time in their lifetime, to be honest. And they're just sitting there
Lifetime.
playing cash
Lifetime.
game. Yeah. It's actually nuts.
There's a really good clip of Fwaz stream where Fwaz watching him play poker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty old, but it's in the top viewed for Summoners War.
But yeah, I
It's like-
was watching that and I was like, that's fucking Tomato. I
Here, I'll get it for you.
What the? Bro. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. All right. Any other quality of life changes and suggestions that you want in the game? I really like this topic with different people to improve the game, right? Because it can hit anything in the game, right? To improve for us.
Whenever I'm I know it's something that will never happen, but whenever I'm like in my JSON and rune removaling, I always wish like right before you go into RTA match, you could like rearrange your RTA selection so you could speed tune your monsters that are the same speed. You know what I mean? But yeah, I know it'll never happen, but that would be cool.
I posted it for you in Discord. You can watch it on your stream afterwards.
Okay,
Well,
I'll
let's
give
say,
a
like,
link to everybody right now. actually.
I do have a good quality of life thing that I'd like
Let's
changed.
just say, imagine you have like Charlotte and Erika, and they're both the same speed. Instead of just picking monsters like in order, it gives you like 5 seconds to rearrange them, so you could like.
Oh,
speed
that's
tune.
a good one.
I know it'll never happen. But whenever I'm doing my JSON, like I know I have to be speed tuned, but I wish like you could be so tight that they allow you like a 5-second gap to like rearrange them.
You know what I love? The actual recent change that they did, and I didn't even notice till like popped up. I think Andrew was there. When you go into a siege match or a regular guild war, and they tell you your monster's missing a rune.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That like
'Cause I was,
That was nice.
yeah.
that
'cause
was
I was doing somebody's siege 2 weeks ago, Zoms, and I took something in that wasn't ruined.
Yeah, there's how many times I've lost because I accidentally forgot which Lucian I took, and there's an empty Lucian.
Yeah, yeah, that's awful.
Fucking god.
It's amazing.
What suggestion did you have, Tyler?
Yeah, sorry, Tyler.
So
No.
in the crafting building, you know how you can craft three star units into a rainbow mon? I rarely do it because we don't need rainbow mon when you farm.
Yeah,
profile.
I do it all the time for premium accounts that need space. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you do that, they should have an option between inventory and storage because it takes from everything when you go in there. And it's frustrating because like I pull units out that I want to get rid of that I don't want to keep in my storage, and then I have to like look for them anyways. So why can't it just be like the same way we do everything else in the game where it's like if you go to the rune manager, you have units in your inventory and then you click a button and it swaps to storage. Why can't I do the same thing for crafting 3-star rainbow one?
But wouldn't you just have that all available because you're planning to feed, so that's all pretty much fodder for you to feed, right? If you wanted to,
No,
keep
I'm not
it, wouldn't
feeding. I'm
you
not feeding everything. I'm
wouldn't-
keeping a lot of 3-star specifically for.
Well, wouldn't you
the
want to
next
lock
2
those
A's.
then? Then locked ones don't appear.
I'm
technically.
not gonna lock. I'm not gonna lock 300 units. I'm just
Wait,
gonna take out what I
which
want to
3
feed.
stars are you keeping then?
Keeping everything that's not second awakened already. I'm feeding all the second awakened units.
Because
My point is,
because like when I'm going through it, I'm making 3 stars, right? I avoid 2As, I avoid things that they use for skill ups, and I'm feeding other stuff. Like I see salamanders, I'm clicking all the fire salamanders, right? I don't care about those.
okay, but if I have all of those units out in my inbox,
Mm-hmm.
why can I not just select immediately what's in my inbox without having to go through every single unit on my account? That's literally what you have to do. When you go to that menu, it loads up every single 3-star.
So
on
you're
your
saying
account.
more of you want to feed what is just outside right now rather than everything.
I want the UI to be separated so it has inventory and storage. So then you can choose and you can go through. I also want a filter function on there, so you can filter by element, you can filter by monster, you can filter by like whatever, just something that you can filter by. Because right now it's just like
I don't know.
this whole thing and it's shit.
Right. I've used it a couple
And
times
it's
and I
messy.
find it really easy. I just open it up, even though it has all the I know it's annoying because sometimes you have to scroll down, right, to get to what you want to feed.
It's
but
not that it's
only full of
difficult and it's
fodder.
not that it's hard to use. It's
Uh-huh.
that it could be optimized so much better without very much effort. Like
Okay.
there are so many better. Like this is what I mean when I say like quality of life changes. That is a
Okay.
huge quality of life change for a lot of players who don't do it all the time. If you, I mean, you do it all the time because you summon a lot on people's accounts. You can go through and filter things really fast. You know what you want to get rid of, right? But a lot of people don't. It's like a
But
huge waste of
isn't it
time.
always just rubbish in there anyways? That's displayed. It's only 3 stars in this 3-star level ones. So isn't
It
it all
is
just
all
rubbish?
3-star units though, and it's not properly in order either.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Right? The order is like pretty shit, which is why I'm saying it needs a filter and or it needs like an inventory versus storage setup. You need something there.
I'll just filter it through by sort it by monsters.
There is no sort function.
Yeah, there's no sort front is what he's saying.
There isn't.
There needs to be a sort function. That's the problem. It's not a whale issue either. This is something that would be good for a lot of players.
Whale issue.
Yeah, like if you click the
Because if you're a whale, you don't give a shit what you're feeding. You feed everything because it doesn't matter.
Right, but
right?
when I click it, right, I only have my 3-star level ones. It doesn't show any. It only just shows my 3 stars.
That's
right.
not what you're. Okay, so Billy, go into the crafting building.
Oh, you can't even see this. Yeah, I only see my 3 stars, right? I can easily tell which 3 stars, and I only have like what 6 lines because that's all the 3 stars I have.
Yeah, but you only have 6 lines.
Right.
Everyone only has 6 lines. Yeah.
But if
click
you
the
have a
3-star
lot,
one.
how much 3 stars are you keeping? Isn't it all pretty much just fodder? right?
I'm
the
keeping them
most part?
for future 2As. A lot of people do that actually.
Wait,
A lot of
the-
people keep
okay,
for
I
future
guess if you
2As.
can't see it easily, but I mean, you can just see the. I just click on the farpies and I'll do the harpies. You know what I mean? Like, but okay, I get it. But how would you want it filtered then? To
So
just
that-
what you have
okay,
outside.
so you know how when you go into your like rune manager, right? And you press in the top right corner to change the unit, you can see all the units you have out, and then you can click a button in the top left that changes to the storage. Why can't we just have that?
Okay. No. I think I'm biased. I'm biased. I'm sorry. I'm biased because I can tell like what are like typical 2As and what are typical fusions. You know what I mean? I can see it a lot
Because
easier.
you do it.
Yeah,
a lot.
exactly. You're right. So because I'm biased, yeah, it makes sense. Okay.
Right,
Yeah, you're
but
right.
people
If you
who
don't
don't do
know,
it a
you
lot-
could feed the wrong one, and that's pretty messed up. Yeah, you're right. Like you're saving that for a fusion or some crap, and you accidentally fed it. That's pretty
It's
bad.
just a small UI change.
Yeah.
Like the more you make the UI more seamless for people, the more comfortable it becomes in the game.
Right.
You were specifically talking about the 3-star one.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
talking about 3-star one.
Because I never
So-
touched that, so I had no.
Exactly. Like, I rarely ever touch it. But what if you're like a new player and you want to take out specific units you want to get rid of, and you want everything in your storage to stay safe because it's in your storage so you can use it later. Right now you have to lock every single unit you've put in your storage to make it. Why do you have to lock every single unit?
Yeah, I think
It's
what
tedious. It's a waste of time.
right. I think what Dragon Llama is saying is right though, and it goes what you're saying as well. Be more consistent with this UI throughout. Maybe not even just this example that Tyler's saying with the 3 stars, but more consistent UI searching and whatnot throughout the game would be nice. Yeah, it's definitely. I agree on that for sure. Yeah, players making a mistake and feeding something that they didn't want to feed due to not being able to recognize it is always bad. Yeah, it's always bad. It's something that Compto should look out to try to hopefully avoid.
You just
Definitely.
triggered a bad memory for me. Oh man, I'm
What?
sure you saw it.
What?
I'm sure you saw it this week.
Oh, wait,
What happened?
is it the
Yeah, it
that-
is.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh,
Wait,
it's
what?
so
Wait, what?
painful.
Tell me.
What happened?
Yeah,
Alright, there was-
There's
video.
another streamer that accidentally fed her Tyrannus.
Oh no! I heard
How?
about that. It's
Yeah,
Surin,
so-
right?
No.
Well, not
It was
Surin. Yeah.
Violent Birdie. It was Violent
Dragon
Birdie.
Birdie.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
So
It
from
was
what
so
I've
painful.
heard, they did give her the rollback on it.
Okay.
Okay.
But when I first saw the clip, I was afraid they weren't going to give her the rollback because she plays on.
I got the clip. It
Oh,
was on
yeah, yeah.
So I was really afraid that she
Oh, I wanna
wasn't
see
going to
it.
get it back. But I'm very happy to hear that she did get the rollback.
Yeah, that does make it.
But the
Make
thing
it
is though,
dude.
I don't know if this is a myth or not, but rollbacks are only can occur if if Comptuous deems it worthy, and there is limitations on rollbacks. If you make the mistakes multiple times, you're not getting another rollback. So if it happens again, they may choose to not roll back. Yeah, the account again. It's usually a one-time reroll. I think, and this is my speculation, a one-time reroll.
It
per
is.
account.
It is one time reroll
Yeah.
per account. Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, no, I'll post them. I'll post it.
Ryan,
I'll post-
undelete my thing.
No, I copy paste.
Yeah,
I got you.
it's-
I got you.
It's hard to
Yeah.
watch.
Oh no, dude.
Yeah, so, like, I
noticed. It was so
I watched this on stream a little bit after it happened, and I was talking about it, and people were like, "Wow, like I can't believe she would do that." And I was like, "Come on, guys, like." Someone just accidentally fed their Tyrannus. Like the least you could do is have a little empathy and not be an asshole, you know?
Yeah. Like the
Like,
one.
I felt so bad for her. Like that is actually horrible, and it's such a bad feeling. And there are people out there who are just like, "Wow, I can't believe she did that." It's like, yeah, no, she also can't believe she did that. So like, be nice. God, don't be an asshole.
You know, this reminds me of YDCB story. Yeah, I'm sure
Imagine
a lot.
if you
If you guys,
imagine if you fed your Molong
if you
by
guys,
accident.
I would never feed on accident. You know,
Post-
that's where you went
post
wrong
bot.
already. That
It's
statement is
lost.
already false. I would never make that mistake. Wouldn't even
post
get
nerd.
close to it, my friend. I had that thing double, triple locked. Yeah.
Actually, what this reminds me of, what this does remind me of, is what Stoic did a couple months ago.
What is
If
Stoic?
you guys remember that,
What did he
he
do?
he turned somebody's new Zyros into ancient crystals because he misread what he said in chat.
Stop saying
Oh.
it. Stop saying it. I don't need to hear this. Yeah, not
Wait,
even
wait.
hear this.
But new Zyros, not a dupe Zyros.
New Zyros.
New Zyros.
Yeah, it was an accident, but it was still very, very rough.
Hey, I don't know about you guys. Do you guys?
He's
still
also sold an
use,
innate violent crit damage. Whoop. That's
Excuse
a bunker.
me?
What were we saying, Thompson?
B just
I
said
don't
that he
know about you
also
guys. Do you guys
innate
still
violent-
use Zyros in arena offense? Because I still do.
Yeah, I do. I do.
I don't.
Really
I don't.
use
I don't have a Tiana, so
I will when I get a
okay.
Pung back. When I get a Pung back, I'll use Zyros.
I have a double Zyros team.
Okay.
Specifically for the ones that are like the triple or quadruple revivers, because one Zyros, you still have the 15% chance to resist, right? But if you have two Zyros,
No way.
yeah. Well, one is max resist, and then the other one max accuracy. The other one is purely for damage.
Yeah.
But and then one is the spare and one is the damage.
Yeah, no, it's like 2020 and I'm still using Zyros. I'm like, does anyone still use Zyros?
Yeah, I do.
Yep, the revive meta is still a thing.
People are using Zyros Pongback still. It's pretty good.
And I use Zyros a lot in Guild War offense too.
People in chat are saying you should just summon it and after that get a reroll. But that's what I said. What did I say specifically? If it's deemed worthy. So even if, let's say you let's say you summon 20 scrolls and you actually fed a nat 5, they might not even do your reroll. Like I said,
Well,
they have to
another
deem it worthy. So it's on their discretion. So that
You also can't just,
definitely
like,
doesn't
ask
work.
them to roll back to a certain time. It's not like, hey, can you
No,
roll
it
back
doesn't
before I
work that
summon the
way.
scrolls? It's like
No.
if you summon a
Doesn't work that
Geldnir
way.
and feed your Geldnir, if they roll back it, they're just gonna give you the Geldnir back. They're not gonna refund you the 500 elite scrolls, dude.
Yeah, there's limitations on that and what they'll do. It's always at their discretion. But yeah, the whole blue stacks things and emulators, right? That's always safe, right? Be safe, right? If you want to use it, it's at your own discretion, right? And if anything happens, like I said, it's at Compto's discretion. But don't cry when it comes to doing that. Yeah, well, I mean, when it actually happens. But B also said that he fed he sold a rune, a violent crit damage slot 4 of innate rune on accident. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oof.
That's a big oof, man. I'd actually care about that more than the Zyros. I might be biased, but I'd care about the vile crit damage innate more than the Zyros, to be honest.
You could just say like
Me
maybe
too.
you saved like 50 reaps, because
Yeah, that's a nut rune, man, for sure.
who is running low on like rune space and grind space?
Who is?
No.
getting
It's
pretty
not
bad.
low.
Grind
It's
space.
not
Everyone runs
existent.
out of grind space.
It's non-existent. There's no low. There's no low.
Dude.
Separate ancient grinds and freaking real grinds.
I feel
man.
like in a year I'm gonna be like complaining again, even if they increase it by like another 100. So I hope they figure out something like just like
Well, the problem is you're keeping all the ancient grinds and gems because
Yeah.
like you're not gonna sell them because you need them eventually.
yeah, even like blue ones,
Exactly. That's the thing. Well, because the blue gems are still good. It's 5 to 11%, right?
What's up, Brian?
I'm Invictus. No, sorry.
Oh.
You just keep doing it. Yeah.
Is that what Invictus does? He goes like this.
No, it's
Wait,
just
wait,
the
wait,
name.
I'm
It's
Island
the
Grown. I got it,
name,
ready?
bro. Everybody's name shifted because he turned off his cam for a second. He's doing something. It's no worries. Just keep going. But yeah, they need to change the rune space, the grind space and the rune space for sure. I think that's a big thing. We need that. We've been lacking in that for quite a long time, to be honest.
I think like the runes, you can still like put on monsters and have infinite runes. So I don't know if it'll like if they make like a rune storage and a grind storage like thing, it will clutter their,
I mean, they do have rune and grind storage technically, right? Or are you talking about a totally different like UI?
yeah, like a totally like so we can get more space,
Okay.
Because now you can just put on a lot of monsters and it's still gonna clutter their like CPU or whatever.
Right. Okay, some good quality of life suggestions and changes. We're gonna move on to the last topic here. This is definitely gonna be a controversial topic for sure, but something that I felt needed to be talked about. Right? I think silence is not something that should happen, and I want to use my platform for this. Right? If those of you guys out there get offended in any way, I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. But this question is, what's your opinion on what's going on in the world currently today? Right. I'll start off first. Obviously, we're talking about the big protests and things going on in the U.S. and whatnot. I do want to talk about this, especially today. And I've even asked people in the podcast here specifically before we started this if this question was okay with them before starting. Everybody kind of agreed that they would give a couple words on it. So I'll start. And I'll say at least for me, it's crazy to see the world the way it is right now. But it comes to the reality that there's so many different people out there that. It's things that I feel are not the norm, right? Or what is norm is not really norm everywhere in the world. Yeah, being born and raised here in Hawaii, living in a very culturally diverse place, I've always, grown up and been raised with people that, respect each other and treat each other very equally. So, I mean, it's crazy to see the world the way it is. And I mean, it's something that, like I said, I do want to talk about. And it's important because I feel like educating the community, not in just the games and things in life, are very, very important to me. So what are you guys' thoughts on what's going on, right? If you guys want to give a couple words on it, before we end off the stream. I mean, the podcast here.
Anybody want to go first? Because if not, I can.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
So, I mean, like, of course, 100%. It's real. Like, when I first saw that video, the one that everybody saw, it was extremely frustrating and kind of sick to see how, reckless the officers were being, of course, and the fact that they were ignoring, the cries and the people that were on, the officers that weren't even the officers weren't even holding him down, but onlooking, they were just completely ignoring it. So it's very sad to see and very sickening and felt very helpless. So of course, first and foremost, I want there to be justice for the the crimes that were committed blatantly, and you can't really defend and say that there wasn't a crime committed, because obviously there was, and I hope that justice is brought for all the officers involved. And I hope that the conversations being had about reform for policing, because it's definitely an issue that's been ongoing and never really seems to fully get taken seriously. But at the same time, I will say though, I 100% support the protests going on. Like, that's what makes America unique, right? And freedom to protest, freedom of speech, it's what makes me grateful to be an American and not live in like China, for example. And you look at Hong Kong, that's been it had its history of the Tiananmen Square massacre, of peaceful protesters being shot at, and then also now with the national security thing going on with them trying to take away the right to protest. So that should always be something that is protected. But I will say, what really frustrates me is seeing the looting being used. Like, seeing the looting going on makes me pretty frustrated and sick. And then also the excuse for the looting taking place being that it's just it's a form of expression, and it's justified because there's people that are angry with the oppression. And I'm sorry, but you got to take the high road when it comes to the way protests go. And there's a way to, like, peaceful protest speaks volumes, and also peaceful protests that are met with opposition, and you weren't violent at all, but for example, police officers were violent, or you triggered them in a way that they reacted violently, but you still were peaceful. That carries the most weight. I'm sorry, like, I work in a business, for example, that we just had to install panic buttons, and because of potential rioting and looting, and you're really not hurting anybody but think about the fact that you're hurting small business owners and the community by looting. And I'm saying, like, most of the protests are peaceful, but the looting and stuff, not at all. Don't stand for it. Shouldn't be a thing. Shouldn't be supported. It should be completely no. If you want to be associated with the Black Lives Matter movement, you should not be in any way favoring the looting, because all you're doing is hurting the community, the small businesses, even the people that work for the large corporations. If you want to say fuck corporations, you're hurting the local. Corporations hire they hire local people. They hire people in your community. They're the cashiers. They're the ones that have to deal with this. So you're hurting yourselves. And yeah, that's my big take on it. And also, one last thing is,
Sure.
don't use this moment to then all of a sudden make big generalizations about like all police officers are bad, because no, I know plenty of police officers, some in the family.
Yes.
They're completely average people too. They're in a profession that's actually extremely hard and stressful. So reform should be taking place, but at the same time, the takeaway should not be that all police officers are bad. Stop taking small instances and magnifying them to a scale and saying that this one instance is the truth for everything. I saw this one police officer do something, it's all bad. Nothing in life is ever, that's never a place to form an argument from, is trying to expand from a small instance of an observation. So please don't make that be the takeaway. And also this stuff like telling white people to educate themselves. I'm sorry, but I respect people my entire life. My whole life I respected people on no matter what color you are. Just be a good person. And I am somebody that, despite the color of my skin, I've never been privileged in the way that you hear. Like, if you're white and rich, okay, I get it. But if you're white and middle class, no one's ever looking out for you. Like, as far as, like, I pay my way through college. My brother is as well. Both my parents are teachers. You're no different. So, yeah.
Like, I want to lighten the mood real quick.
Thank you, Invictus.
Technically, Andrew's the minority.
120% agree with Invictus, man. Just want to say that.
Yeah.
Good.
I appreciate
speech,
you speaking out. This is, like I said, this is the platform, and I do want to share the community these words from you guys as well. So I appreciate you taking the time to speak.
Upset and disappointed
Yeah,
when I hear all the looting that's happening around me, because I live in like the LA County as well, and Chinese people have a saying called 冤冤相报何时了. It means like, you know, revenge after revenge, when will it end, you know? So 100% agree with you. And yeah, what were you gonna say?
Go ahead, Billy.
Right,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Regin, if you want to go.
I just wanted to lighten the
Letting
mood because like no, it's okay. Because like you know we're talking about Andrew talking about how the color of his skin, right? That technically he's the minority right now in this current setup. But yeah, no, I want to go back to like I do agree. Like the thing is like I've been in both situations, right? Like we're right now we're talking about Asians. We're the minority. We don't know how the black community is like from a first hand point of view or first person point of view. I've been in a situation where I've gotten harassed by the police actually, and it was straight up racial I got
Profiling.
serious profiling. So I got arrested because they were searching my car for drugs, and they thought I was a drug dealer. That's the story. And then what? Like I didn't even do anything. I was just like in my car waiting. All of a sudden, an unmarked car pulled up to me, and then they told me to get out of the car. I was just confused. I was being super nice. I was like, you know, look at my car. I have nothing. Like they started like patting me down, like pushing me to the like on the trunk and all that stuff, telling me like, oh, do you got special K on you? You got this and that. I'm like, no, I don't do anything. You can search my car. And then they still arrested me when they found nothing. You know what they found? Because I work at a warehouse. I have a little knife in my car. They took me in for that.
Oh,
I still got arrested. Like I literally got arrested. I was in jail because of a knife that I worked with.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
That's-
it's not a box cutter. It's like one of those like knife you buy online, and it's they quote unquote called it like in New York like a lot of weapons are like highly restricted. So even though it's just
certain
like it's not
types,
even-
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a blade that you had to pull out, but you could technically flick it, so it's like sort of a switchblade, but they call it a
Right.
grab.
It's a momentum. The momentum.
Yeah, and
If it has centrifugal force, they will mark it as a momentum blade.
so
Right.
they were searching my car because they thought I was a drug dealer. I'm not a drug dealer. Still got arrested. I still had to do 1 day of community service.
See, the thing is that like you were being very compliant, and you know what I
I
mean.
was
But like,
perfect.
but like a
I
lot
was
of
like,
people don't like to like because a lot of times you know searching your car and stuff like that. That's like giving up some of your rights, right? For me personally, I mean, it you know I'm usually pretty compliant as well, but it's instances like that that really make me upset. You know what I mean? So
like I felt that like firsthand. Like I know how that feels when I'm just like there was nothing I could do. If I resisted, I would have gotten more shit. Like my first instinct was like unlike them, right? Like I could see why they would be. They're more resistant and more like they know that their rights are being taken. I didn't feel like my rights were being taken away that during that moment because I would just be like, I'm not a criminal. I didn't do anything. I was parked on the side of the street waiting for my girlfriend because our bus was coming, and that's what literally I was doing. I was picking her up, and then an unmarked car pulled up to me because I was in a black BMW. I had spiked up hair in one of the like pat nose. I mean, I was in Flushing, right? So it's more of like an Asian hood. So I was being stereotyped for having a black BMW, spiked up hair, and dressing black, and tattoos.
yeah.
So with that, they just automatically assumed that I was
Right.
doing something bad. But then, like, even being compliant, I was getting like sort of like my rights taken away, and just like I was still being nice to them. Like, you know, like I thought they were just gonna let me go, take me to the precinct, like look at my records, nothing, and then let me go. But then in the end, I still got fucking community service. I still had to go to court.
Yeah,
Like,
some of the simple things we think of, just treating people equally and not profiling people, which I like for me, it just comes so simple. Like it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer, right? But obviously, like I said, like just like the whole Rainbow Mon thing, right? I'm biased, right? Because I grew up this way, and this is how it kind of is where I live and where I'm at. But to understand
Yeah.
that the world,
I mean, there's
is,
definitely like
Go ahead.
without yeah.
Yeah.
No, continue.
yeah, it's just crazy though in the world that there are these places that are people don't grow up that way and they don't view it that way. So I mean, it's definitely important that I wanted to raise kind of awareness towards this and kind of talk about this today too. Really just tell people, man, like just treat people the way you want to be treated, man. It's very simple, right? Do what you got to do. We all got other like crazier things to worry about in life, right? There's other things to experience in life, right? To do. So just treat everybody equally. And going back to what Invictus said about privileges, I mean, you'd be a fool to think that, obviously people, treat people equally, right? You'd be naive to be like, oh, the world is a perfect place. Everybody treats everybody
Yeah, and
equally. But
that there's not like toxic
and there's
people
not
and
like there
there's
also is there
assholes and
not people
racist.
out
Yeah,
there
of
that
course there
are,
exists.
people that are out there that are like privileged, right? There are people in this world that are privileged. You need to know that, right? There are people in this world that are born more privileged than others. But I feel that those people are the people that that have the most responsibility on their shoulders to be kind and to be nice and to spread good in the world because of those privileges that they've been, given in life. That's what I firmly believe in. Yeah.
I mean,
Privilege or not
May I
privilege,
speak?
I feel like
saw this
everyone
prototype
should
in
contribute. You know.
Yeah. Tyler or Thompson,
Are
if
you
you
guys
guys, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just want to give you guys the chance to speak first.
No, go
So
ahead.
if you guys are finished, then I think the big thing, and you guys have mentioned this, but the big thing that bothers me the most is people who are being opportunistic, people who are using the opportunity to blame the protest for things to further their own agendas, whether it's looting, whether it's inherent racism, whether it's anything like that. There are a lot of people who are going very out of their way to push their own agendas and using all of these opportunities. This is not it's not a movement of trying to hurt other people or anything like that. I mean, a lot of bad things have happened. A lot of violence has happened. A lot of discrimination has happened. Yeah, being from Canada, living in the U.S. right now, I've had the opportunity to witness it firsthand. I went downtown for the last 2 days, and I witnessed people being tear gassed, people being beaten when they were just standing there. They were kneeling on the ground, speaking out in peace, and the police orders went in tear gas, and people were getting abused. They were being hit by batons and pushed out of a square. Nothing had provoked it, and it's so heavy on our hearts and on our minds to see things like that, and
know what
it's
else?
just absolutely horrible. But I think another thing that's really important to consider that is, even if you're not somebody standing out there protesting against it, if you support the movement, there are other ways you can do things, right? I went and got some water and some snacks and brought it to the protesters downtown because I can't go out there and stand there, right? I can't get arrested being here right now. Like that it would just be really bad for me. But I want to do my part in those things, right? I want to speak out against things like police brutality, right? I had a once cop emote for a long time because I thought it would be fun to have, a C3 police kind of emote as a joke. And you know what? Respectfully, I've taken that down because I don't believe in police brutality. I entirely disagree with it. And I urge other people who are doing those things, right? I made an announcement in my Discord today. I said, I would prefer if you guys did not use any cop or baton or anti-riot emotes in my stream and in my Discord. It's not appropriate, especially for this time, and it's just set a different precedence. And it's no longer a lighthearted joke when someone raids your stream. Oh, defend with We've reached the point in society where that is a dangerous memory for a lot of people. It's a lot of people that are being hurt and being abused for nothing. So it's not just these like focusing on the big issues. Small things matter, and I think it's really important. I'm going to mention something that we talked about earlier in the stream, and I don't mean any offense to you, Thompson, when I say it. There's something you said that bothered me earlier, and I want to mention it because I think that it slightly diminishes the issue that's going on. Right now, people are protesting Black Lives Matter. Yes, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, all of it matters. Right now, Black Lives Matter is what's really important and what's in front of all of us. So when you said influencer lives matter, I know it was a very lighthearted joke, but it's that kind of behavior that gets normalized that takes away from these protests. It takes away from the meaning of what we're trying to push here. And I urge all of you guys to really be mindful about the things that you joke about and the things you say.
Exactly.
It really, really hurts people when you normalize their pain, because that's not what it's for. You can't normalize the pain that people go through, whether you can experience it or not, whether we personally feel it. Right? I was lucky. I grew up with privilege in an upper middle class society, but I grew up with a lot of racism, not being white. I grew up with a lot of really rich white people, so I grew up with racism. It's not the same as what you deal with or what George Floyd dealt with or all of these people. But the point is that you should never normalize or make fun of movements that take away people's rights and the things that they're passionate about.
Yeah, I apologize.
So-
I didn't mean to. I didn't know you took it that way, Tyler.
Yeah, it's okay. I know you didn't mean it. I know you didn't mean
that's
it
why it
in
was a
any
little bit,
negative way, but I wanted to bring it up because it's important that we use this platform here of 1,000 people that are watching and the hundreds of people that watch the podcast on YouTube, that it's really important that we don't do this. We don't normalize pain and this misjudgment of people.
Exactly. Respect is always most important, especially for my community. We know Thompson, right? When you know somebody, things are a little bit different. But even to the extent, right? That's why I was slightly upset earlier. But I know Thompson that you don't have those intentions, and you never have any of those intentions. Yeah. So. But yeah.
I also
Anyways.
want to like what Tyler was going on. There's well, I think you've seen the videos of like the white guy that was like breaking windows on purpose, and they believe that it's actually like a police instigating riots and instigating violence to diminish the actual protesting, the actual like peaceful protesting, and then it also gives you like when you start breaking windows, the opportunistic people are just gonna the scums are just gonna take the opportunity to be like, well, this person already started it, I could do whatever I want now. That's how all the violence starts. It's not because like people are just inherently shitty. It's just the fact that when they see one or two people start something, they're all gonna jump in because it's a herd mentality. Because like, oh, if we all can't get caught, the person who started is gonna get caught. We're just in the background, just grabbing, looting, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now. It's just people being opportunistic. They're not totally shitty, but majority of them might be.
The world's a big place, man. There's a lot of things going on.
I just really hope that the focus is on the, like, I really wish the media would stop talking about the riot. Like, I think they're doing a disservice to the movement too. Like, they're conflating the riots and the protests together, and it should just be. I want the most important thing is the takeaway, right? Like 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, what's going to be remembered? What's going to be the lasting impact from? What was the change that was made? And you want that to be like how people are. You want that to be the act. You want the protests, the peaceful protests, and the messages that the people were talking about in those protests to be the thing that was remembered. So, yeah.
Like when we were driving downtown yesterday, I heard on the radio, like they were saying, yesterday was a great success. There were peaceful protests. Everything was perfectly well done. And I heard that and I was thinking, yesterday I watched a cop beat somebody who was laying on the ground with their hands up. I cannot in good faith ever in my life think that that is peaceful or well done in any way. And not to say that all cops are bad people, because they're not. We're not trying to overgeneralize anything here. But I think what's really important is that when you do see something, you say something against it, right? I know, like, we know what Thompson said wasn't meant to be hurtful in any way. But because I saw it, I feel obligated to say something about it. Because if I sit idly by, people will think that that behavior is acceptable. And that I don't agree with.
Thompson,
right?
do you have any words
I don't
you
think
want to
Thompson was
include?
making any racist joke, but
right,
it does take away from what we're trying to do right now, if we normalize it.
I understand.
Also, one other important point, if you guys do go out and protest, if you do go out and you're trying to show support, I urge you to do that. Please be safe. Don't bring your ID with you, bring cash with you, keep your phone on airplane mode. Don't bring a whole bunch of things with you. All of those things it's just not worth it. Something also important, please wear a face mask if you go out and protest. Like there is still COVID around, guys. People are going to get sick again. So please do the best that you can to protect yourself and protect the other people that you care about.
And this whole thing is just gonna create a second wave. I'm already like.
I think in like 2 weeks, the COVID, 1 or 2 weeks, the COVID will get worse. What do you guys think? That's
what I believe. I mean, like.
Yeah. We've been talking with a lot of people, and they're saying 2 weeks is when people will start getting admitted to the hospital.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks after is when people will be like very, very critically ill. And 6 weeks is when people will be dying.
It's always a delay. Did you have any words that you want to say as well, Thompson? I want to give you your opportunity to talk.
No, I didn't see in your point of view, Tyler. I apologize, and it looked like you were, you're really upset. So I didn't mean it like that.
I appreciate that you recognize the conversation. I'm not upset at you.
Yeah.
I'm just upset about how things are.
Yeah. Sometimes I just like speak whatever hits my mind. I didn't know it hurt your feelings. So yeah.
Right. We just gotta be a little bit more careful, right? We have other people watching as well, right?
Yeah.
So
and we have a lot of influence as people as what we do, right? So I think it's important that we
want to make sure
remain
that we convey our
vigilant about the
messages,
things that we spread.
Exactly, and we conveying our messages what I meant to say was we're conveying our messages and what we're saying very clearly. You know what I mean? Right? We don't want people, making assumptions, because people already make assumptions about certain things we say. Yeah, whether we're talking about the game or talking about other things in life, when we are, speaking, we're talking, people already make enough assumptions. So don't give them any more reasons, right? But yeah, thank you guys for really speaking out and talking about this. I think it was important that it was talked about and shed a little bit more light. I do apologize if anybody's offended, but here in this community that we have built up, I built this community from a long time ago when I started streaming many years ago. Yeah, till now it's the same way, right? I feel like this community, more so than a lot of other ones out there, can really be able to speak on whatever topic it is and be able to respectfully, agree or disagree or have conversations about whatever it is that needs to be talked about. And then through that, be able to make, decisions and, suggestions, right? Like how we do with Summoners, where we're able to talk openly about things. And that's the only way that things can be done, right? If you can't talk about it, then nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to be done. So thank you guys for taking the time to join me today for this podcast. If you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you guys leave those comments down below for suggestions for future podcasts, as well as suggestions to comp to us. Hit that like, and I look forward to seeing you on the next live stream or
Thanks for having
podcast.
me.
Thanks
Thanks,
as
guys.
usual,
Stay
Brian.
safe, guys. Stay safe, and thanks for having us, Brian.
That's good.